And then I would bitch all winter long. I'm moving to Florida, And now I'm the opposite way. I'd rather have a cooler and colder than hot. I don't know if does it happen to everybody? Does it happen to you?
Yeah, a little bit. I like the cooler weather. I grew up in the hot weather like you. Actually, my first uniform ever we were called the Jaspers, and it was a wool. I was 5 years old. It was a wool uniform, baseball uniform, and the pants were because I was so small. They didn't have any size for me, so they just gave me whatever. And the pants went up to my chest.
Yeah.
And I remember actually buckling the darn things at my chest.
Those woolen uniforms were murder. But
we survived.
We love them.
Yeah.
All right. Today, fake news coming up in a little bit, 9:25. Two of our favorites today. Well, three of our favorites today. Pastor David Lowery from Project 21 and the National Center for Public Policy Research. Last time we had him on, the chat box went crazy for him.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to talking to him again because one of the topics that we had for all of our Project 21 guests were the 2024 election and how black voters can be so important. And I'll be damned they were.
Yeah.
So the pastor's coming up at 9:41. Tim Jones, he's one of our favorites.
Oh, yeah.
The Speaker of the House. And Gregory Wrightstone, who we've been talking to for almost the whole life of the show.
Yes.
And he really made me feel validated because the left's like, oh, too much CO2 in the air, man. And I said to Gregory, I said, why don't we just plant more trees, right? Trees take in the CO2, they give off oxygen. And he was like, you're right. I was like, I am? So I was right once.
Yeah.
One time.
You were.
And he's going to join us at, I'm sorry, I should say that he's the, what is he, Ken? CEO of CO2 Coalition.
Yeah.
So he's coming up then. I'm sorry. Time for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The Pledge of Allegiance, brought to you by our United States Air Force and Space Force.
Ken, who is doing the Pledge of Allegiance for us today?
Vic from the Daily Caller. It's Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, Tyler, go ahead, buddy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Over 200 careers to pick from in the U.S. Air Force and Space Force. Call Jeremy Jefferson in Baldwin now at 314-295-6834. 314-295-6834.
All right, Ken, I want to focus on a word here to start us off today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The word is dignity. And I know your favorite guy, Hakeem Jeffries. You love him, don't you?
Oh, I have such a passionate.
God, he's the worst.
I have such a passionate emotion for him, but it's not necessarily love.
He's the worst. So there's a representative in the U.S. House just got elected who is a guy who dresses like a girl. I don't know what they call them. Okay, trans men, trans women. He's a guy dressed as a girl,
right?
And now the big issue is the bathrooms at the Capitol at the U.S. House of Representatives.
Correct.
Right? And Hakeem Jeffries says, you won't let this person have the dignity to to be welcomed into our House of Representatives. And, how terrible are you people? And we're going to do that one later.
Okay.
I got a little something.
All right.
But we can do, Nancy Mace, where is she? I know she's here. Nancy! She's on here. I know she's on here. So anyway, he's talking about dignity and letting men use women's bathrooms is for 8, Ken. Letting men use women's bathrooms preserves the dignity of that trans person. Right?
Yeah.
What about the dignity of the women that are in there who are women and now have this guy? Where's their dignity? Why doesn't their dignity matter?
It's amazing. It's amazing what they're willing to do. I think it was only a few short years ago where they were saying everything all about women. Yeah. Women's rights, women this, women that. Ken. And then suddenly men can be the best women.
And in this subject, where is the National Association for Women? Where's now?
Right.
National Organization for Women. And because they're hypocrites and because, the women who, okay, so this whole trans thing, I know I simplify things way too much, but this whole trans thing, I think, started in the bathroom because there was a girl from St. Louis, Hillsborough, I think, a guy who's dressed up as a girl and wanted to use the girls' bathroom.
Correct. Yeah. I remember that.
And then it went further. They want their own specific bathroom in schools.
Right.
So I've said since then, and I've said it back then, that you can't tell me that for 100 years, a guy dressed as a woman went into a ladies' room, used the stall, washed his hands, and left, and nobody noticed because it looked so much like a woman, right?
Right.
But it's when it's like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
And that's it.
That's where it all started, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that, Vic. But if you go back decades, okay, remember just growing up, there were transvestites. There were men who dressed up as women, and they actually lived like that. And we always said, well, that's a transvestite.
Exactly.
It's no big deal. I mean, we just said, hey, it's a transvestite. Now, we never allowed them to go into a woman's bathroom ever.
Right.
And they didn't want to go into a woman's
Right.
bathroom. They just said, look, I'm a transvestite. I dress up as a woman. I feel like a woman. Leave me alone. And gosh darn it, we left them alone.
And have you noticed the word transvestite is no longer in the vernacular
Oh, no.
at all?
No.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, they want to get rid of that. And so fast forward to, and this is where, you had gay rights, which we all agree with,
Mhm.
And then gay marriage and all that. I worked at a futon store where a man came in one day and he said, look, I need to get my partner's stuff out of here. And I said, by law, I can't do this for you. He said, but he has AIDS and he's dying and I have to
boy.
get his stuff out. I said, I want to do it, but I can't by law. I will be arrested if I do it. So I agree with these, partner laws, civil laws to have couples become partners
Mhm.
civilly and by marriage. Okay. That was fine. But then they started to, this is the nudge. This is the left. Then they take it a little farther and a little farther until you're reading about queer gender to little kids at libraries with drag queens. I mean, this thing keeps going farther. If you were to elect Kamala Harris, for example, the next 4 years would be a progression of that.
Right.
We stopped that for now.
And it all comes down to sexuality. And we're teaching kids sexuality at an age when, if a boy is in 3rd grade, the only thing that should be on his mind is that girls have cooties, right?
Yeah.
That's basically it in a boy's mind. And now we're teaching that same boy at that same age about oral sex and gay oral sex. And it's like, okay,
It's damaging. It's so damaging.
if you want to be an adult and that is your lifestyle, go right ahead. But don't teach it to kids that are that young. It just doesn't make sense. And they will never, ever make it make sense to me, even though they think they're right and they get louder and they talk faster and louder.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly right. And they keep pushing that. And that's the whole thing, is that we keep saying, okay, it's all right. It's no big deal. We'll let it go this time. It's fine. But when they start walking in the bathroom with your daughter in there,
Right.
with your wife in there,
Right.
when they start actually what do they call it? What do they call it when they chop off body parts of kids and not tell the parents?
Mutilation.
Okay.
They don't use that word.
But
We
they don't use that word.
Right.
But they'll call it something
Gender
else.
affirming care.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And then they say, well, that's right. That's the way it's supposed to be, because that's an individual. What about the individual in the womb? That's an individual too, but they have
Absolutely.
no problem with killing that.
Not to mention, there are certain things in this country where you have to be at least 18 or 21 to partake in. You can't buy a 6-pack of beer unless you're 21 years old. You can't walk into a casino unless you're 21 years old. You can't buy cigarettes unless you're 21 years old.
Great point. And cigarettes is a life-changing decision that you make as a person. Well, how about this? I mean, if you're going to allow an 8-year-old to make a life-changing decision for the rest of their life, because once they start taking those blockers, apparently they can never stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you might as well allow them to start smoking, buy cigarettes and start smoking, because the impact on both of those things are negligible. I mean, they are the same.
I also think if they want to go this far, change the movie rating system.
Yeah.
Because if you're teaching kids about sexuality that young, then just go right ahead and bring them to a theater and watch Last Tango in Paris at a movie theater with your kids. It's fine.
Heck with that. Bring them in the X-rated one because that's
right.
what they're doing.
Exactly right. I don't know if they have those anymore. It's the only reason
I don't know.
say it. But anyway, so Nick Schroer just texted me because it looks like we have this problem in Missouri as well.
Do we?
Somebody named Wick Thomas, not Vic, Wick.
Missouri House of Representatives, District 19.
He's a guy who dresses up as a woman. I don't know what you call that, trans man, trans woman. I'm too old to learn something new.
It's not even that, Vic. It's not even, if you're 20 years old, why do you have to participate?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing. And this is what I would tell anybody. If you called right now and said, how dare you treat me this way? I would say, well, you can be you. You be you. You be you. Don't expect me to say, let's see, your pronouns are, I'm sorry, what was that again? Let me recite them the way you want me to. No, that's not the way this works.
So let's hear number 8, which is Nancy Mace. She's been in the news just about constantly for the last 24 hours. Nancy Mace is a fighter, okay? Obviously a Republican in the House of Representatives. She's a victim of rape. She's a victim of sexual abuse in an abusive relationship. I mean, she's been through the mill.
Yeah.
But to me, she is the utmost authority on all of this because of all the terrible things that have happened to her. So a reporter who chased her down, right?
Right.
I don't know if he got out of her car, if he chased her down and he wanted to talk to her. And this is, I think this is something from that.
This video goes out to Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman Nancy.
No, this is a person.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this person. All right, get ready, everybody, because this is pretty.
Yeah, if you don't want to play it, we won't play it, Ken.
I want to play it, but it's pretty disgusting. This person, Vic, did this video for Nancy Mace.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. This person did this video for Nancy Mace in response to what she was saying about the bathroom.
This video goes out to Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, I hope that one day I do find you in that woman's bathroom and I grab your ratty looking hair and drag your face down to the floor while I repeatedly bash it in until the blood's everywhere and you're dead.
Wow.
Thank you. I hope that Nancy Mace receives this message well. Kisses.
That's a man dressed up as a woman.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
that's what she does not want in her bathroom.
Isn't that a threat? Doesn't that need to be reported to the Secret Service or somebody like that?
I found this on social media, and many people tried to report it to the necessary people. I don't know what they're going to do with it, because it's against the conservatives. So they should do something about it.
The new administration will do something about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm sorry, I completely screwed that up on you, Ken.
No, that's okay.
But Nancy Mace was outside the Capitol building yesterday, and this reporter chases her down and says, "What about these people's dignity?" It was kind of what we started out with, but what about the dignity of the people that are there and are women and have a guy come in and go to the bathroom? And she looked him right in the eye, and she was very forceful and told him what was what. And I tell you what, I know a lot of people don't like Nancy Mace on our side. I do. I like Nancy Mace.
Well, the same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
she was approached, and there were photographers and reporters all around her asking the question, what are your thoughts on this? And she said, men are men and women are women. That's really, I don't know how else to explain it to you, but they will not be allowed in our bathroom. And if they get in our bathroom, I'm going to take control of the situation. They will not be allowed in the women's bathroom, period. They're not stepping back. And this is what needs to happen, not only in the political sphere, but American civilians need to be acting the same way. They need to say, look, if I feel this way, then here's what I feel, and tell people. Don't try and hide it, because they're going to push.
So this Wick Thomas in the Missouri House is going to be the same thing. He's going to want to use the women's bathroom. Yeah. And we're going to have this whole story. That's a national story right here in our own backyard.
You got it.
We'll talk to Nick about that next Tuesday when he drops by. Okay, busy Wednesday today. Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition at 1041. I'll bet he's happy about what's going to happen with this administration and some of these stupid rules we don't have to live by anymore, I hope, right?
Right.
Tim Jones, Speaker of the House at 10:05. I'm going to write chat box real big at 10:25, Ken. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Chat box. Okay. David Lowery, Pastor David Lowery from Project 21. Last time we had him on, you guys went crazy for him, so we'll give you some more of him. And coming up next, it's fake news. Yeah, fake news. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Number one for live and local conservative talk.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
I have a theory. People talk loud when they want to act smart, right? Correct!
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right. Want to sell your home? Good for you. You know, you get to a point where if you've had two or more children, first of all, if you've had two or more children, let's say more than two children, your house is louder than it's ever been in your life. Everything's loud. Everything's arguing. Everything's everything. And so once the kids are gone, you look around, right? And if you're a guy, you say to your wife, do we really need this big house anymore? You know what? Well, let's sell it and get like a condo or something. Well, guess what? It's the Wallner Home Selling Team to the rescue. The Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway is Rodney and Jen Wallner, our great friends. And they will help you sell your home because they've got approved home buyers lined up around the block where they have to have, you know, when you go to the deli and you have to take a number, that's what these approved home buyers have to do. They got to take a number. And if what they want is what you're selling, perfect match. Wallner's will take care of it. By the way, the Wallner Home Selling Team sells 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. Husband and wife team, great conservative thinkers, great philanthropic people, and they're available to you in Missouri or Illinois. Their phone number, 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders. Eric, believe it or not, the holidays are right around the corner. What are you all doing over at the jewelry store?
Wow. Well, first I want to say don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. And don't forget, Christmas is only a few months away. Get started early. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want. And we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newsteaders Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else. There's never any pressure here, just an attentive family that listens and educates you to ensure you're completely happy and the gift you give is perfect.
Experience that fantastic Newsteaders difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL on a Garage. And we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
We talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity. And I'm sick and tired of it.
101.9 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Hey, can I ask you something? Well, what's forget about it? What is that?
Forget about it. It's like if something is the greatest thing in the world, like Mingeros peppers, forget about it. You know? Sometimes it just means forget about it.
All right. Thank you very much. I got it.
Forget about it.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Quick thing about that clip.
Yeah.
When Paul Giamatti asks Johnny Depp, "What's forget about it?" And he starts talking about it. It's like, if something's the greatest thing, like minga those peppers. The word he uses there, minga, kind of means forget about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like if something happens, if you told me, Vic, my water heater burst and water, I would go, minga. It's terrible. Or if my wife made something for you for dinner and you loved, you go, minga those peppers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So minga is kind of like forget about it.
Okay, yeah.
But in Italian. I'm not sure it's even a real word, but we use it all the time.
That's right.
Okay. So listen, big show today, but I also want to let you know that you could win a $500 gift certificate from Newsteaders just in time for the holidays. Now, here's my plan.
That's big.
Okay. If you're a guy and you win this, you buy something for your wife for Christmas, right?
Sure.
If you're a woman and you win it, you just go ahead and spend it on yourself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Isn't that what we do as husbands?
Oh, God, that's always what we do. Believe me.
So, how do we win this $500 gift certificate from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers?
Jewelry.
No,
Jewelers.
I was going to say jewelry, but it says jewelers here. Go to NewstalkSTL.com, register to win that $500 gift certificate from Newsteaders just in time for the holidays. The winner will be announced on the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show on December 10th, and you can visit Newsteaders at 2961 Darty Ferry Road in Kirkwood or at wowdiamonds.com. Ken?
Yes.
It's time to fight the fake news.
We are fighting the fake news. It's fake.
Fake news.
Phony. Fake.
Fake news.
Fake news. That's a Ken Williams production right there. So, fake news is when we take somebody who's in the media, in the news, we play what they say, and then we kind of correct them, make fun of them, whatever is applicable at the time.
Right.
So, and you know what's funny, Ken? This is almost back to like when we used to do Saki Timmy, right?
A little bit.
That was fun. A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Jen Psaki is now a member of the media. She's got her own show on MSNBC.
Right.
Because here's the deal. Fake news, if we're doing our job right, fake news always has to be somebody in the media.
Yes.
Not a politician or actor or anything like that.
Correct.
Somebody in the news. So Jen Psaki is now in the fake mainstream media news. And she was, okay, I have so much to say here, okay? She is doing an interview with Katie Couric, who just won't go away. Katie Couric has a podcast called The Next Question. She's been reduced to a podcast where 45,000 people watched the video of what we're going to play for you now. 45,000 people. Joe Rogan gets 45,000 people when he turns on the mic.
Right.
And Katie Couric, to me, is one of the fakest, phoniest, miserable failures in media history, okay? When she was the anchor of the Today Show with Matt Lauer, I said to myself, how did she even get this job?
Yeah.
And because she talks real soft and there's no energy in her voice or anything like that. And so that was that. Then she quit that. Oh, and while she was a Today Show host, she would go to Rockefeller Center and skate with the Olympic skater.
Right.
She'd do this thing where she wanted to be a singer in a bar, singing torch songs, And then she became the anchor of the CBS Evening News.
Wow.
And I said at the time, I swear to God, I said at the time, no, you don't sing in a bar and skate at Rockefeller Center and then expect to be trusted as an anchor of a major network news organization.
And I believe at that same time, she was also a major critic of Republicans.
They all are.
They all are, yeah.
I mean, Norah O'Donnell was, Dan Rather was.
You're right.
Scott Pelley was. It doesn't matter. But the point is, you can't be this fluffy little Katie Couric,
right?
And then expect people to trust you when you're giving the news of the world.
Yeah, I think she was coached at that time to become the nightly news person because she would try and lower her voice and get very serious, and it just didn't work.
Whether it's subconscious or not, we don't forget those stupid fluffy things that she did.
Right.
And she was a miserable failure as the evening news host. So she decides to interview Jen Psaki about what's going on right now and how did we lose this election. Nothing biased, by the way, about how Katie Couric's like, how did we lose this election? And so Jen Psaki is the focus today on fake news.
I have some answers. I don't have, but I'll just be like humble about the place I don't have answers. And this is the place where I feel like I need to do more studying and understanding is the disinformation space.
Stop.
I do.
So Jen's going to talk about the disinformation space. Okay. You'll hear where the disinformation space in her head is. And I got news for you. It's right in our backyard. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I do think that unquestionably to me, you know, one of the things that's changed even since I got involved in politics is just the rise of the percentage of people who get their information off of platforms that have no fact-checking mechanism
Stop.
and
No fact-checking mechanism. What is NBC's fact-checking mechanism?
NBC.
What is ABC News's fact-checking mechanism? David Muir, during the debate, fact-checked and quote. I love how they use this phrase fact-check.
Yeah.
When they're not giving facts in the fact-check.
No, in fact, his fact check was incorrect.
Right. And so was his little partner there, the woman who was the other moderator of that debate.
And that's the big question. And we go back all the way to what was his name? Jankowicz.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The malinformation czar that was
Yeah.
supposed to be the leader, the head of this thing,
Yep.
the singing czar or whatever she was. Well, that was supposed to be her. She was supposed to be the one to say, no, that's not true. This is true. And she was extreme far left. So who is the person? That's the magical question. And we can't answer that.
Who fact-checks Peter Alexander of NBC News on the Today Show when he gets on with Hoda and Savannah and says President Trump called for Liz Cheney to be shot? Ken, that's a verbatim quote.
Yeah.
It's verbatim.
And it's a lie.
So who's there to fact check?
Well, they would individually, if left unfettered, like we would in the Kamala Harris administration, I go back to that, they would say, well, we are the fact checkers, not you stupid social media people.
So what about the Trump collusion? That's been disproved. You can go to Snopes and see that wasn't
now disproven.
Snopes is not any kind of down the middle fact checking organization.
And to this day, Adam Schiff for brains, let me try. He will still maintain that he was correct.
Yeah.
That there was Russian collusion, even though it was proven false. But
So-
is that misinformation, Vic?
Right. So Jen says, well, there's no fact checking mechanism in the podcaster space. That's what she's talking about, the podcasters.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
accountability for having disinformation spread, right? And as you know well, and I mean, when I got started in Democratic politics, you know, most of it was like local TV ads. That was what it was about. Obviously, national TV, local print. Those local TV is held to a higher standard of accountability than social media platforms.
Stop. So she's saying that local news is held to a higher standard than anything else, I guess. So it was just the other day, you know, KSDK, they make more mistakes, whether they're honest mistakes or whether they're lies, every night. And how are they held to a higher standard? Because they get away with the same stuff. Because guess what, Jen? It comes down from MSNBC and it gets to NBC from Soros or whoever's the almighty god of media.
Do you remember the clip we played? I guess it was probably about a year and a half ago. We were one of the first shows to play it. It had to do with over 100 local stations saying in sync exactly the same words about becoming a travesty. It was something about
This could be a threat to democracy.
Yeah, he could be a threat to democracy. Now they all said it exactly the same way. So they're the moderators of what is misinformation, but they're getting it all from above.
And how are they held to a higher standard when they all
How?
said the exact same thing in the exact same verbiage? They were told to say this verbatim. Trump is a threat to democracy. And they all said it.
Exactly verbatim.
All right, get back to
In terms of having accurate information on their platforms.
Wow.
That is crazy. And so it is how does
I
it
think that was a really good point that she was trying to make.
have accountability than social media platforms in terms of having accurate information on their platforms?
Stop.
Right. Social media platforms. She's basically saying, how can they possibly have accurate information on these social media platforms? My question is, how can you, because you're getting the information, like she said, local, you're getting that information from above. You don't know where that's coming from. So you're verifying everything based on getting your information from someone above. Whereas in social media, Vic, they're getting information through research. They have to show any credible. I mean, there's a lot of fake information out there, but we weed through that. If I see something with absolute verified documentation, that is fact to me.
And local media, the best example I can give you was I was in my car and I heard a radio station, an AM radio station that's now owned by George Soros. You know which one I'm talking about? And the report was that there's construction at 141 and 44. And I heard what I heard, that 141 was going to go over 44 because it floods down there.
Right.
Right. And that made sense to me. And I kept saying it on the air when we're at the river. And finally, some guy called me and he said, you're talking about, that's not what it is. It's going to be a flyover ramp just to get to 44 East. And I was like, he was right. I was wrong. I know what I heard. I didn't make it up.
Right.
And it is. It's one flyover ramp that gets you onto 44 East when all you have to do is go up to the light and make a left and you can get on 44 East. I mean, it's so ridiculous why they even did it. Anyway, there's one where they weren't held to a higher standard of the truth.
And that was misinformation, but you got it from the people you thought were credible.
Right. Okay, let's finish her up.
That is crazy. And so it is, how does it change? How are people held to account? Laws have to change.
Stop!
I don't even know that.
Laws have to change. Play that again in case anybody missed it. Laws have to change.
How are people held to account? Laws have to change.
Oh my God, Ken. How hard have we worked on not saying that? Right?
In our angriest moments.
I say, Ken, I would never trample on the First Amendment, freedom of the press, freedom of speech.
But we've got to find another way.
How about an accountability factor so that everything she's saying, well, this is the perfect example of Ed's story. Everything Democrats say, the opposite is true.
With the ease that she said it.
Yeah. So laws have to change. We made sure we never said that phrase.
Ever.
And she just comes right out and says, laws have to change.
Laws have to change.
Lock up those platforms immediately.
That First Amendment thing. No. Laws have to change.
And we defended the First Amendment even in defeat.
Yeah.
Is there anything left?
I don't even know the total answer to it, but that seems to me to be a core issue. The other issue, I think, that is a real one.
We are fighting the fake news. It's fake.
Fake news.
Fake news. So there you go. I'm glad we do this. I'm glad we do this feature.
I am
we
too.
can take apart a minute or so of what somebody says. And then later on in that interview, she goes, and Joe Rogan was not the sole reason why Donald Trump won the election. I agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Donald Trump ran a great campaign. But when Barron Trump said to his father, hey, you need to go on the Rogan show, because Barron's a college kid now.
Yeah.
He knows what's hip. He knows what kids are listening to. So it definitely helped with the young vote. And Jen Psaki is just the biggest stupid liar. She's a big liar. All right, when we come back, Pastor David Lowery from Project 21. Can't wait to talk to him. He's next on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Woosh.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
Donald Trump is getting close to wrapping up his cabinet, and of course, then Senate confirmation. Who's going to stand in the way?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here for Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. They've helped me recover from day-to-day aches and pains for years. And here's something special, personal training programs. Whether you're an athlete committed to increasing performance, recovering from an injury, or just want to get healthier and lose weight, their personal training programs will help you reach your goals and stay there. Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, online at cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
On the line with us is Jamie Allman. I'm sure you'll be watching the fight tonight.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Tyson the entire way, man. So that's me. Because I'm old like him. So I gotta pull for the old guy, man.
Mike Tyson and I are the same age, and Jamie, I think you're a couple of years older than me. So we got to root for the old guys.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Attention food lovers. Craving authentic kosher cuisine? Head to Nate's Kosher Deli in the heart of Creve Coeur's culinary scene. Formerly Cones, Nate's is now under new ownership, offering an even greater selection of kosher items, from mouth-watering sandwiches to gourmet meats and fresh baked goods. There's something for everyone. Call 314-333-6283 or visit NatesKosherDeli.com. Experience the difference at Nate's Kosher Deli today. And don't forget to mention News Talk STL sent you.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial. Everlasting protection.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
This is Larry Connors. Whenever I'm invited to be a guest on the Vic Porcelli Show with Ken Williams, I know it's going to be a great time, even when I'm not invited. Listen, you'll have some laughs. You might actually learn something, or not. Anyway, listen to Vic and Ken.
Hey, Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
If you watch that, first of all, let me tell you what's going on there. So Sonny Hostin and the rest of the goons at the View have been talking about Matt Gaetz since he was nominated.
Right.
And Sonny Hostin said some stuff that wasn't true. And Matt Gaetz gave her a C&D, cease and desist.
Right.
And she had to read it on the air. And if you watch her do that, it's killing her.
Oh, it's
killing her to say it. So we just wanted to play that. All right, our next guest. Couldn't wait to talk to him. Last time we had him on, our chat box went crazy. He is Pastor David Lowery. Pastor, great to have you back. How are you?
Hey, man, first, great. It's good to be here. First, let me give all praises to God.
Yes, sir.
And my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for making it possible. And, man, it's a brand new day in America.
It sure is. And last time we spoke, because I was really, I was nervous, but I really had confidence that the black community in the United States would come out and vote for Trump, and they did, and it made a big difference, didn't it?
Yes, sir. You know, I want to thank the American people, and Vic, I want to thank you for having me on your show. To the listeners who heard what I was saying about the black community, we will never, ever be a part of the Democratic machine ever again. This was it. Here in Chicago, and I know across the country, I know President Trump was just expecting to get maybe 5 to 10%. But we turned Illinois red because we got 47% in the black community. Trump outpaced Kamala 3 to 4 to 1 per them. And at the end of the day, we had 47% the black people voted throughout the entire state for President Trump. So I know the message got out, but more importantly, it was the message that black people sent to the Democratic Party that we no longer going to play this game. You can keep the Barack Obamas and all the rest of them. If you're not going to do something for the community, then you don't get our vote no more. And I thank God that he heard us in our prayers and got President Trump back in so we can get our country fixed around.
Now, if we can only trickle that down to the blue cities, right? We must have talked the last time that we chatted that St. Louis City hasn't had a Republican mayor since 1949. And Pastor, this city is crumbling, literally crumbling to the ground. So maybe we can get that same mindset or get the great Project 21 ambassadors out to the cities. And okay, now the presidential election is over. Look what happened. Now let's talk about your city, right?
Now, this is what we can do, Vic. You know, the new borders are Tom Homan is one of my best friends. I've been working with Tom for a few years now. He is probably the most sincere person that we could have. He's a true American, and I guarantee you he's going to lock those borders down. But the reason why I'm saying that is because Border 911 has already made a commitment to come to the blue cities, myself, other pastors like William Green, Bishop Benjamin, and we're going to go to the inner cities and we're going to start educating Black folks about what's going on in their communities, how they can deal with immigration laws. We're going to talk to them about stepping up to the plate and run for office. We got to get some of these house Negroes out, the ones they call educated, the Black Greeks. They're throughout the system and they've sold out to the Democratic Party. And we're going to start teaching people about politics, economics, and so the Black community can become self-sufficient. I think the message that we delivered across the country, because in the entire country, the Black community came out to the tune of maybe 40 to 45%.
Love it.
And that's just been unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, Pastor. Absolutely. We're talking to Pastor David Lowery from Project 21. And I want to say a couple of things. Tom Homan, you mentioned all these things about him, and I'll say the word because you probably can't. He's also a badass, and he doesn't take anything from anybody. And he's gonna fix this border. And by the way, if he's a good friend of yours, why don't you give him a call and tell him to come on with Vic and Ken one day? That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
really. You know what? I'm going to do that. I just spoke to them a couple of days ago. They're into this transition thing, and they're making these moves. And to the American people and patriots across this country, we have to support President Trump in those appointments that he's like Matt Gaetz, you know, because they know that they're about to go to jail because they're deleting files and they're burning stuff right now. They're trying to hide it and erase stuff, man, because they broke the law, the federal law, with what they did by paying these immigrants to invade us. So the American people, just like we spoke at the polls, we need to support President Trump and make sure he gets the people into those positions that's going to hold them accountable. And that's what the demos are doing right now. They're crazy. They know that they're wide open. And so they know a bunch of them is going to end up in court just like they did the president. And so the shoe is on the other foot now. And the American people need to understand that the liberals are not about the American people, but they're about themselves and the elite. So we have to support President Trump, get everything passed, and just get our country back to the way it used to be. You know, marriage between a man and a woman. Kids can learn how to be smart instead of learn how to be a transgender or the boy that's hidden inside of a girl. All that stuff needs to be brought back to where it used to be. Keep that out of our children's face. It's not the true thing of the country. Let us make smart children. Let us become true blue Americans again and build our country back up where it's respectable. So that's what I'm looking for President Trump. And the Black community, I can say unequivocally, is going to support him.
Amen, Pastor Lowery. That's awesome. From our perspective, you know, we see, and it doesn't matter, you know, what race you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. People generally right now are feeling good about what is anticipated. And what's anticipated is growth for everyone. Are you feeling that in where you come from?
Well, let me say this too. Now we got to go to another level, Vic. Okay. See, what happened was this. There's a scripture in the Bible about Jonah when he was supposed to go preach to the town of Nineveh. And then, even though he went to the belly of the fish, he still went preach against what he didn't want to do. He did it. And God spared the whole town. See, what happened to America was God just wanted to see if we would pray and put him first again.
Yep.
He been waiting on us. You think that all of us that have been on our knees praying and said, Lord, we know the devil, Joe, and them done messed it all up. Don't you know that by us coming back to him and saying, you know what, we got to get God back in this country. We got to get prayer back in the schools because they got everything else in the country. Once God saw that our hearts was true, he forgave us. And now as a country, we have to do the right thing. We have to support righteousness. We can't worry no more about what color this one is and what color that one is. It's time for American peoples to be Americans. Let us stand together. And if you're illegal, you better be finding a place to get back across that border because Tom Holman is going to take you there if you're not there before he gets into the office. But as Americans, let us continue the road to build each other's communities up and keep God first. As long as we keep God first, this country is going to prosper. And we have to have righteous people. To the Christians listening, it ain't no more stuff about, well, I'm a Christian and the church and religion. What it is this. We as Christians are supposed to vote. We're supposed to control the tempo of who is in office. Because look, when we don't have Christian people in office, we got Satan people in office and they try to destroy us. And so we need to stand on sending God-fearing people to these offices because we're in control of politics because greater works you should do after I'm gone and I send the Holy Spirit. And I have the Holy Spirit. All of us listening have the Holy Spirit of righteousness. And that's all we have to do is do the right thing by each other. And God will continue to bless us all.
Yeah. We're talking to Pastor David Lowery from Project 21 and the National Center for Public Policy Research. So there's a message, Pastor, and then I want to get, don't let me forget. I want to talk about the great roster of people at Project 21. But very quickly, let's talk a little bit about Black voters and the message that when you go to these cities and you say to them, you know, that Democrats don't have your best interest at heart. I always say, and I'm sure you will say it more eloquently than I, that the Democrats won't help you. They don't even like you.
Well, you know, that was one of the messages that I put out, and I think it went viral. About 30 million people heard it. It's for 60 years, Black people have been being in line with the Democrats. They have lied, they have cheated, they have stole. It was the Democrats who destroyed Black Wall Street, not the Republicans who were the abolitionists at the time. And so I think what it took, see, sometimes people have to go through enough stuff to where they say enough is enough. And I think what happened with this was Black people have been trusting the Democrats for years and years, and they've studied continue to destroy the Black family. They brought crack into the Black community with guns. Joe Biden created the crime bill. All of these things have culminated up to where, and I'm going to tell you one person that lost this election for the demos was Barack Obama.
Yep. I completely agree. Black men didn't need to be talked down to like he was talking down to them.
Well, Black men, what the media does, they don't show the Black men like I see them. Their fathers, their families, man. They're working 2 or 3 jobs, taking care of their families. They're teaching their kids. They're fighting the system now because a lot of them can't afford to take their kids out of school, but they don't want to go down with that. What Barack Obama did was, after 8 years of doing nothing for Black people and always lying and telling us we have to wait, and then he got out of office. Black men, since he's been out of office, and say, you know what, Pastor, he never did nothing.
Yep.
All he did was talk and say good speeches. Every time somebody said something about helping the Black community, he said, America doesn't operate like that. So guess what, Barack? Your ghetto pass and your Black pass done been revoked. Because when you came to Black men and you tell us, first of all, I'm so glad that I wasn't in the room because I would have had to slap Obama around. He would have got a few slaps in the face for that.
We would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, it would have happened. I can guarantee you. I know Obama personally, and that's disrespectful. But what he did was woke Black men up to say, you know what? We're going to throw his ass out of this country.
Love it. All right,
that's what we said.
We're running out of time here. So I just want
to... We proved it. Folks, y'all can find me at Let the Truth Be Told, rumble.com, David Lowe 1057. Y'all subscribe. Go to my website, LetTheTruthBeToldRadio.com. Give a donation. Leave a message. But let us help the black community, and that's what I'm doing. I'm raising money. LetTheTruthBeToldRadio.com so that we can start purchasing buildings with my 501c3. See, I know what to do with it.
You do.
I'm going to get the buildings for $1, renovate it. But folks, Let the Truth Be Told airs 6 p.m. Central, Vic, anytime. And I'm going to get Tom on your show. We'll do it together. I'll have him on the show, and then I'll send you the link, and we can just go all over the country with it.
And we'll leave you. Thank you so much. And we'll leave you with this thought that, they tried to make Kamala the first black woman president and African-American. Think about it in these terms. Elon Musk is more African-American than Kamala Harris.
Right.
Is that right?
She's not even black. She can't even read or write. She's a cocaine head and always laughing. I'm telling y'all, that's for a fact. That wasn't Hunter's cocaine. That was Kamala's stuff.
Pastor, thank you so much. We'll talk again soon.
God bless America, man. Let us stay united. One America. Make America great again. God bless this country. I love you guys.
God bless
you for having me on.
NewstalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on NewstalkSTL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
On December 19th, gather with the people who keep us safe. The David Dorn Foundation invites you to Cheers and Charity Christmas Happy Hour at Toy Drive. If you have a heart for our heroes, join us for just $20. Enjoy a festive evening of food and fun. Kids under 12 are free. Bring a toy or gift card for first responder families in need. Santa will be there for photos with the little ones and the big ones too. All the proceeds help our heroes. For details, visit DornFoundation.com.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. GOLD, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-251-7963. 800-251-7963. 800-251-7963. That's 800-251-7963.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019-94.1 and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The U.S. has vetoed a UN resolution demanding an immediate Gaza ceasefire. The U.S. voted it down because it failed to link the truce to a release of all hostages still being held by Hamas. The Pacific Northwest taking a beating from a bomb cyclone, generating gale force winds and flooding rains. Issaquah, Washington homeowner Wendy Harrington says the storm caused a massive tree to crash down on her house.
It felt explosive, or like there was a bomb going off, breaking glass, the sound of breaking glass. Everything was just very loud. I thought the whole wall was coming down. And then you see the branches and then the glass. There's glass all the way to the back door. I don't know if the roof is okay.
She spoke with ComoNews.com. The storm has left hundreds of thousands without power and is blamed for one death. The U.S. sending anti-personnel landmines to Ukraine. It's an about-face for President Biden, who previously rejected the idea out of concern for the safety of Ukraine's civilian population. Donald Trump continues assembling his team, looking to hit the ground running 2 months from today.
The president-elect said he is nominating longtime TV talk show host Dr. Mehmet Oz to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. In a statement, Trump said Oz will cut waste and fraud within the country's most expensive government agency. He also has chosen his transition co-chair, Howard Lutnick, to be Commerce Secretary. Lutnick, who was said to be in the running for Treasury Secretary, is a billionaire who heads the brokerage and investment bank Cantor Fitzgerald. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Los Angeles is on its way to becoming a sanctuary city. In the first of 2 votes, the city council approved the statute, and Mayor Karen Bass says that she supports it. On Wall Street, the Dow down 27 points, and NASDAQ is off 110 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-9534. That's 800-298-9534. 800-298-95.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, hour number 2 ready to roll. Thanks to Ken Williams. Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition will join us at 10:41. I really like him because he's not afraid to say, shut up about your CO2 crap. Right?
And we've got a nice clip to play him from a very reputable scientist.
And he's very reputable.
Oh, absolutely.
But scientist.
World-renowned.
Right. Promise, chat box 1025.
Yes.
If I don't do it, throw the ping pong ball.
I'm going to. Okay. I'm warming up.
And right now I have one question for you, Ken Williams.
Yeah, Vic.
Are you ready for this?
Come on.
Former Speaker of the House.
You just proved why you left-wing loons are so insane. Y'all ready for this?
King Jones.
There he is, Speaker of the House. Woosh, my speaker. How are you?
Whoosh, my ultra mega deplorable brother.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, he's coming, Vic. He's coming.
Yeah, he is.
I can't wait. You know what? We talked to Pastor David Lowery just moments ago from Project 21, and he said God was waiting for us, and then he helped in this whole situation. So when he said God was waiting, I pictured God saying, well, we're waiting.
I can't even imagine what it would be like under a Kamala Harris administration without God.
Right. And there wouldn't be God if it were Kamala.
And Vic, our younger listeners, and I know we have many of them because we speak to all the peoples all the time, and I especially do as the people's speaker. But of course, that reference you just made is to one of the greatest movies ever made that everyone should watch every single time it comes on.
Well, we're waiting. All right. So you're the speaker. You were the Speaker of the House in the Missouri House. What I'd like to do here, Mr. Speaker, is have you hear a clip from the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. You up for that?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker Johnson.
I don't know what happened to it, Vic. Oh, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker Johnson.
Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said. But I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity, and so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts.
Scripture, maybe. But Louis Prima, I think, said the same thing in the same way.
It looks like it's gonna hail.
Sorry, it's the second verse. Can we wait till the second verse?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was the first one. So what the speaker said was, a man is a man and a woman is a woman, right? I think this is it.
Shocking news.
All right, after I'm sorry, Ken. I thought the first verse was a woman is a woman and a man.
Right.
But
This
it's
is
coming.
good. I like
turn
having
it,
music.
turn it.
It's like a variety show.
It is a variety show. Vic's variety show and news review.
All you need is the Carnival Barker and the Medicine Man, and we got a whole show going on here.
Can you be the medicine man? I'll be the,
I
I'll be
can,
the Barker.
yeah.
Kenny can be
Timmy.
All right, I think this verse coming up is the one that accentuates what. Damn it! Third verse. It's in the third verse. All right, forget it.
Woosh.
So one of the verses in that song is woman is a woman, and a man ain't nothing but a man. So Louis Prima knew it too.
They did.
I'm
And,
sorry to waste your time this morning.
No, I'm enjoying this. This is very entertaining. And look, that quote you just played, that clip you just played from Speaker Mike Johnson, is everything as to why they hate him, right? I mean, he is a gentleman. He is articulate. He is steeped in his faith. He loves God, family, and country. He believes in America first. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it MAGA. You can call it America first. You can call it Christian nationalism. Let's say Christian Judeo-nationalism, because our Jewish brothers and sisters are definitely more with us now than they've ever been.
Absolutely.
Call it whatever you want, but it's also, you know what it's also called? It's also called sanity and reality, right? And I just heard this morning, or I just read this morning, that believe it or not, one of the Euro socialist zones, the Netherlands, may be waking up and smelling the coffee. Guys, they are reinstituting their border controls in the Netherlands.
How about that?
Which the headline of the story was, could this be the beginning of the end of the EU? Well, praise God, maybe it will be, because they decided to have this. They decided to create, in the Euro socialist zone, they're like, oh, let's have a utopia. We won't have any borders. It'll all be fun. We'll all share the same economy. We'll get rid of our currency. It'll be great. Except it wasn't, and it hasn't been. And it's been an absolute failure. And that's why we had Brexit, right? That's why the UK said, we're done with this dog and pony show. We're going to do our own thing, because nations are different. Peoples are different. What is wrong about celebrating our differences, but yet doing what we can to all work together with those differences, right? Wasn't that the whole thing that we all learned growing up, watching the Saturday morning cartoons with the Great American Melting Pot, right? We all come from different places and have different ethnicities. But in this country, if you're going to be in this country, you're going to be Americans. If you're going to be in the UK, you're going to be Britons. If you're going to be in Italy, you're going to be Italians, right? What is wrong with having an identity? The left doesn't want you to have an identity, right? That's why they're trying to erase all identity. And you guys have been talking all morning about the gender affirming care and the transgenderification of America and all that. You always got to take one step backwards and remember where this is all coming from. This is all coming from the premise that the left has that human beings are bad, right? The left believes that human beings in and of ourselves, we are bad things. We are carbon creating creatures. So this all has to do with their ridiculous, fake, phony climate science religion. And they want to depopulate the planet. Well, Vic, Ken, what better way to depopulate the planet than abort all human beings before they can see the light of day? And with the human beings that happen to have, somehow made it through the birth canal before the left kills them, well, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to castrate and mutilate them so they can't have children and reproduce, because human beings are bad. I don't believe human beings are bad, because I actually believe in a higher power. Not that we're the higher power. How arrogant, egotistical, and elitist of these left coast lunatics, left coast and other left coast lunatics, to think that's what all comes down to. They are a secular driven society. And if they have their way, eventually we will be nothing more than a repeat of the fall of Rome.
Yeah. Tim, you mentioned the Netherlands, and I read this huge article about it, that the Netherlands are coming close, and they're almost being a minority now. The natural-born citizens of the Netherlands are becoming a minority to Africans.
What?
And yes, and it's approaching that very quickly. And that's where we're heading. And there's nothing racist about wanting to be a sovereign country, Tim.
That's exactly right. It's back to what I said. The left, in order for the left to lord over all of us, then we need to be we need to be the Borg, right? None of us can have an identity. We can't have any distinguishing characteristics. And so when you are a transgender, non-binary, pink and purple haired they, them, well, then the left can do whatever it wants to you, right? Because it controls the language, it controls the identity, it controls, and you lose your self-worth, you lose your identity, you lose your personality, you lose everything about you. But that's what the left wants. The left wants to create George Orwell's 1984 here on this earth at this time. And thank goodness we have stopped them in their tracks temporarily. We've got 4 years to try and reverse some of the damage. And hopefully we'll have more than 4 years. Hopefully, though, that this movement that has been created to make America great again and reestablish ourselves as a freedom and liberty-loving, non-censored people will continue. And I'm hopeful that with people like J.D. Vance and other such leaders that we have, that we finally have woken up and smelled the coffee. When AOC deletes her pronouns off of her Twitter feed, I don't know if you guys talked about that, but she did. Go look at AOC's Twitter X feed. She deleted her pronouns after the election.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Well, maybe they're starting to realize that this is not a winning argument, despite the fact that some of them are refusing to let go.
You know what bothers me about that? They do it just because it's the right thing to do to maybe win another election, not because it's truly the right thing to do. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. It's exactly what they do, Vic. They're like, oh, crap. Well, that didn't win that time. So we have to figure out something else. I mean, and were Tim Walz and Kamala Harris the most expendable It's almost like the Democrats are like, whew, thank God we got those two losers out of the way.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, when she picked Tim Walz as the running mate, and I don't want to spend too
Worst
much time
ever.
on this, but everybody was like, where Tim Walz, where'd he come from? And all I'm saying is I follow the right people, because A.F. Branco, editorial cartoonist, has a syndicated deal where he does cartoons for a Minnesota newspaper. So he drew about Tim Walz all the time. So I knew who Tim Walz was before he was the running mate. And I think that a lot of the country finding out what kind of a weirdo he was really set the stage for a massive failure in the election.
Yeah. And how about the fact that Tim Walz now has to go back to a redder Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not even Ronald Reagan in his massive 49 state sweep. And for the younger generations listening to us, yes, there was a time where a presidential candidate won almost 50 states, not in ancient history, right? In the 1980s, not that long ago, Ronald Reagan won every state except Minnesota. Well, Donald Trump got awfully close to doing it this time, taking that leftist victory down to single digits. And he did it everywhere. He did it in Illinois, did it in New York, California got redder. And Tim Walz now has to go back to a divided General Assembly. And the fact that, his state rebelled, his very own home state rebelled against some of the crazy crap that he was spouting on the campaign trail.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's the left now is saying, oh, it wasn't really a mandate. What's her name? Jessica Tarloff on the 5 said, well, he didn't get 50% of so he really didn't win the popular vote. I'm like, oh my God, you people are doing math wrong just to make your point when you're not even right.
Well, Vic, when they call a man a woman, what's a little math error here and there? I mean, when you can't recognize basic biology, then I guess you can just turn mathematics upside down and inside out as well. I'm not sure what they used to call a 312 electoral victory, but back in the day, it used to be a landslide.
We used to call it a landslide.
Yeah, and we were very cautious and careful, and so that's why when it happened, we were all happily, I don't know that I think we were a little surprised because we it's kind of that Stockholm syndrome thing, right? Like we didn't want to get screwed twice, because in the 2022 election, we were convinced by the media that this was going to be something different. This time, I think everybody was a lot more cautious and careful. But if you go back and look at some of the polling from the actual good pollsters, like Robert Cahaley of the Trafalgar Group, who we interview often on our show, and when you look at Atlas Intel, when you look at some of the other polling groups that the mainstream media doesn't like to refer to, they all nailed it. Yep. They all got it. And if we had been brave enough to believe all that, we would have said, well, here comes the coming Trump landslide. And thank goodness it happened, because now we can say, yes, Americans did not like all of that ridiculous spending. Yes, Americans don't want us running around engaged in all these foreign wars. Yes, Americans actually do want a secure border so we don't get overrun with Mexican drug cartels, fentanyl, sex, and human trafficking. I mean, everything I'm saying, it's yes, let's have a return to common sense and a real reality, right? I mean, none of these things are like groundbreaking, earth-shattering realizations, but we just want to get back to normal. Yes, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are a return to normal.
Yeah.
And that
I
normal,
have a theory.
and that normal is making America great again.
All right. So I just want to say something, and then we'll move on to some of the cabinet picks. But that guy from Trafalgar, is that the guy who always looks like the sun is in his eyes? His eyes are really closed when he's on TV. All right. So let's talk about some of the picks from Donald Trump to be in the cabinet. When the news that Matt Gaetz was nominated for AG, I wasn't disappointed. I was surprised because I thought Matt Whitaker was going to get it. And Matt Whitaker is a Tom Homan type badass who doesn't take anything from anybody. And, so Matt Gaetz is fine. And now Matt Whitaker is going to be the ambassador to NATO. What do you think about that?
I love that. And you know how, okay, look, Matt Gaetz is an interesting pick for Attorney General. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
It's an interesting pick, Yeah. And you know what? He would probably do a fine job. However, there's been 35 picks now or so. I've kind of lost track. We're in the multi-dozens now, right? And you notice how, so there's multi-dozens of picks. I would guess that 90% of them are absolutely fine, because you don't hear the media. You know, the media doesn't talk about them. They're talking about the 3 or 4 that they don't like.
Yeah.
Here's the point. It's not advise and obstruct from the Senate, right? It's advise and consent. Donald Trump should get the cabinet that Donald Trump wants. He's the executive. These people work for him, not Congress. So unless there's a really good reason right now at this point in time to not approve someone, they should all be approved. I love Homan going to sorry guys, I'm at the end of a cold. It's just aggravating at this point.
Sorry, buddy.
Whitaker and Homan are guys who are extremely serious. They're extremely straightforward, and that's why the left hates them, because those guys just deal in absolute, pure, unadulterated fact. And again, when you're dealing with that kind of level of fact, the left doesn't know what to do, because the left is all about their feelings and their pearl clutching and their emotive attitudes about everything, instead of dealing with real world problems and actual factual situations.
Tim, Donald Trump was elected with a mandate. Okay. Donald Trump was elected with the electoral votes and with the popular votes. It's America First ideology. Okay. And that's what we need to be staying on this track as a Congress and as an American people. We should be pushing back anytime these people try to derail that. And that's what the media is trying to do right now, is derail it.
That's right. And there's nothing racist, misogynistic, sexist, or whatever-ist, xenophobic, whatever they want to throw about, because they didn't believe that either. They didn't believe that either. All the you're Nazis, you're Hitler. This is just a KKK celebration. Well, none of them meant that. And my point of that is Exhibit A of Mika and Joe going down and bending the knee at Mar-a-Lago, right? I mean, either these people believe everything they say or they believe nothing they say. They're the ultimate in hypocrisy. They just don't like the fact that America they don't like the existence of America. America is the shining city on the hill. It is the beacon of freedom and liberty for not just ourselves, but for the world. If there was no America, then yeah, the left would probably get its wish. We would all just be part of one giant miserable commune, right?
Yeah.
And that's what that's what socialism and communism eventually does. It sure does treat everybody equally. It makes us all equally miserable, right? And then you have a small group of people, the elitists, the upper crust, the folks that live in the capital city of their mythical Pan Am, and then there's everybody else out here in the districts, right? Toiling away, providing them all their sustenance and living miserable lives. They don't like an upwardly mobile American middle class. You can't have that in their vision of a future. That doesn't work because you have to have the rulers and the ruled. And if you have an upwardly mobile class where everybody can eventually be part of, the political establishment, well, then they can't control that.
Right.
And that's what ultimately they want. Humans are bad. We must control them all. We have to depopulate the planet, Green New Deal, transgender for all. It's a ridiculous way to try to live your life versus the America that we've had up to this point.
All right, Speaker Jones, we know you don't feel well, so I appreciate you being with us today. So we'll leave you with what Mike Johnson was trying to say, because in 1956, Louis Prima, this is, by the way, Sam Butera on the saxophone. God, he's great. And he's still alive, by the way. Here's what Speaker Johnson was trying to say about a man and a woman.
There's a woman and a man, ain't nothing but a man.
Right, Ken?
Right. They knew this a long time ago. My, how much we've forgotten.
He knows how to jive and well. All right, Timmy, we'll let you go. We'll listen to you this afternoon with Chris Arps. Whoosh, my speaker.
Whoosh.
Whoosh, double whoosh,
Whoosh.
Dry Hump Day Wednesday, my deplorable garbage Nazi brother.
You are the best. Thank you so much. And feel better. Feel better.
All right.
See you, Tim.
He doesn't feel good.
I know. That sucks.
So
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
all this construction, when it's done here, there should be a room, or when you walk in and there's a map of all the people that are in all the building.
Yeah.
Dry hump this way.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so wowdiamonds.com is how you can win a $500 gift certificate from Newstedter's Fine Jewelers just in time for the holiday. We're going to announce a winner with Tim Jones, should have mentioned it with him, sorry, and Chris Arps on December 10th. Newstedter's is at 2961 Darty Ferry Road in Kirkwood, or at wowdiamonds.com. Try to win that. Whew. I'm exhausted. It's 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Then you really gotta jump jiving. Then you really gotta jump jiving. Then you really gotta jump jiving. Then you will.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
How dare you?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Louis Prima was Italian, you know that, right?
I kind of gathered that.
He was. All right, so listen, the more and more people are, you're seeing these gangs, these Venezuelan gangs everywhere, and there's just bad people, unfortunately, among us. So to protect yourself, to protect your families, to protect your home and your pets, by the way, go to Southern Armory and find the firearm that is absolutely perfect for you, because handguns, rifles, shotguns, firearms in general are not one size fit all. Everybody's got a different taste. Everybody's got a different physical ability. So find the perfect firearm for you at Southern Armory, and they will teach you, if you are a new shooter, if this is your first firearm that you're buying, what's the first thing you're going to learn? Gun safety. Firearm safety is absolutely imperative, and they won't even let you walk out with a firearm without that firearm safety. So learn it and find everything, including accessories and ammo, that you need at Southern Armory. They're located at 9901 Watson Road. Don't forget the Wise Food Buckets, 25-year shelf life on those, and cheaper than you can buy them online at Southern Armory. SouthernArmory.com, SouthernArmory.com.
Tim Jones here for AMF Electric, in business since 1965, offering a full line of industrial, commercial, residential, electrical, and system services. AMF's residential department will serve all of your wiring needs, including emergency repair, expansion, or new builds. AMF Electric, fully experienced in every commercial installation, including food service, medical and dental services, as well as office expansions. Call them 314-647-4066. Online, amfelectric.com. That's amfelectric.com.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They will be impressed when they see your custom-made drapes, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you pick out the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design and personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you a lot of money on drapes, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
The Allman Report.
Hey, Wednesday on the Allman Report, so much fun and frivolity, and of course, our biz guru Rick Pogue. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman. Weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Weird how?
Weird. On News Talk STL.
Weird. Just plain old weird is what it is. Good morning and welcome to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's the great Ken Williams over there. I don't think I introduced you all day today. Sorry about that, man.
That's all right.
Ken Williams, the guy who makes it run, makes it happen. He's the star. He's the dude. But right now, all right.
From the county of St. Louis.
Crime issues, economic development.
This is Mark Harder.
I love that everybody gets their own really cool kind of intro, right?
Like walk-up music.
Tim Jones gets his "You Ready for This?" Right, right. Nick gets his crazy headbanger music with Metallica.
Not so crazy.
And it's crazy. No, it's not crazy. It's just not my bag.
I know. I get it.
Metal has never been my bag. You know me. I like Louis Prima and stuff like that.
Right.
Anyway, Mark Carter from the St. Louis County Council. How you doing?
Hey, Vic. Hey, Ken. How you doing?
Great,
I've talked
man.
to you since the election. So are we?
Wait.
Yeah.
We haven't spoke since the election.
Yeah. We're on the next day after election.
So
are we still winning? Are we still winning?
Yeah. Let me check. Yeah, we're winning.
They're still counting votes, aren't they, in
Well,
Pennsylvania?
yeah. Thanks.
How long does that take?
What the hell, man? How long does it take to count votes if you're not cheating?
Yeah.
If you're not cheating.
Right.
One night.
They're not in Antarctica. They're
Don't
in
give them any
Pennsylvania.
ideas.
They're
No.
in Pennsylvania.
So, the election affected you and the county council, right?
Yeah.
Mike Archer.
Mike Archer will be the new representative for South County.
When does he get sworn in?
Be the first Tuesday after the 1st of January.
First Tuesday after the 1st of January. Okay, that's fair.
So
is he psyched? Is he ready to go?
Oh yeah. He's been attending our meetings. Last night we had a meeting, and he's been attending that. And Gretchen Bangert, who is the Democrat that won the 2nd district, she is. We're in touch. We've been talking, but she hasn't been attending the meetings so far.
Wait a minute. Who does she replace?
She is replacing Kelly Dunaway, your favorite.
Oh my God, she's gone.
No, well, she will be at the end of the month.
Fantastic.
But
don't let the county council door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Well,
How do you feel, Vic?
I don't like her.
Tell us how you really
don't like her. What do you want me to say? I don't
Yeah.
like her. So that's great.
Oh yeah.
So is this one that maybe a little more? What's her name? Banger.
Yeah. And so Banger, and she's a state rep right now, and she's termed out. So she was elected. She ran, got a primary, and then she ran the general.
All right. Is
And
she
so she
a
good.
moderate or is she a crazy left wing?
No, she's a moderate, and she's the one that got sideways with Paige. Paige tried to back her opponent and tried to push her out of the primary. Remember that whole story?
I do.
Yeah, and so Paige put up money against her opponent, or for her opponent against her, and so she's coming in Paige is coming in without a new friend. That's for sure. So Dunaway's going out, who was his friend, and the new person is not Paige's friend. So
we
he's
might-
going to have everything stacked against him. He's only going to have one friend on the council, and that's Lisa Clancy.
So we may get some stuff passed, right? I mean, Rita Days has always been, well, maybe we can swing her. Surprisingly, Shalonda Webb voted with you a couple of times, hasn't
Right.
she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we could just kick ass in there.
Oh, yeah, and that's what he's worried about. I mean, Paige is doing a big I want to be your buddy kind of thing, and it's the old Greitens thing that, you don't start making friends when you need friends, and
Right.
he needs friends right now. And so he's spending a lot of time even talking to the new people who haven't been sworn in. Hey, let's do lunch. Hey, let's be friends, that kind of stuff. So he's trying to find friends on this council.
So the senior tax freeze, what did I hear in the last week or so about that? There was a pause.
Yeah, we paused it. It's back up and running as of yesterday. And so they had some software glitches. We've had over 30,000 people register either online or in person. And every day it keeps going. So they're taking in, I think we heard a number yesterday, about 100 a day, every day, new people coming in. So there were some software glitches. They wanted to pause it until they can get that fixed, and now they're back up and running. So hopefully you can go to any of the government centers that are offering the sign up, or you can go online. I would encourage people to go online. Saves a lot of time and saves us a lot of effort, so we don't have to touch that application with people. So
how's the county manager thing going?
Well, it's kind of in pause. I'm waiting for we get a new council next year. So I'm not going to even bring it up right now,
Okay,
but
that's fine.
it's something we can talk about in January and February. But it's something we're definitely going to talk about. Right now, it's budgets. We're trying to get our budget nailed down for the coming year, and to make sure that we've got the money. I'm not too impressed with the way the budget system has been put together this year or the outcome. And I'm debating whether I'm just going to vote no on the whole thing and move forward and try to force others to vote no, because we're not getting any compromise. We're not getting any cuts that we wanted to reduce this budget. And we're still at a huge deficit, and we'll be at a deficit next year as well if we keep going the way we're going.
How's the attendance been at the meetings? Are people starting to come out a little more, or not really?
No, right now we've got problems with, or perceived problems with, our dog kennel, just not too far from here. So that's all resurrected issues on that. So we're getting people coming that are the dog and cat lovers. They're coming to express their opinions. Basically, what's happening there is the APA has been running our kennel for the last almost 2 years, and their contract is going to be up in February. And so we're going to go back to the county running it again, and the people don't like that. And so they're coming to our meetings expressing their concerns with the county running the dog shelter again. So
I got to tell you,
it just cycles through.
Yeah.
It's the same problems 3 years ago.
I came into all this with packed houses at the county meetings, and I guess I just assumed it was going to be like that all the time.
Yeah,
and it's not. All right.
Yeah, Mark and Vic, we've got a caller, Lou, listener Lou. He wants to comment about the person you were talking about replacing in the St. Louis County Council.
Hi, Lou.
Hi there, Vic, and I wanted you guys to know that this lady, Gretchen Bangert, is wonderful to work with. Mark Harder should be very happy, even though she's not a Republican. I'm a staunch conservative. I worked with her for 4 years at Hazelwood West High School dealing with the marching band. We had trouble with the band director and the administration there, and she and I fought together, and our politics difference had nothing to do with our banding together to get a job done. And I think she's going to be the same way with you guys.
Thank
she's
you,
that
Lou.
kind of a person.
Lou,
good luck with her.
Always count on you for stuff like this. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And that's the perception I'm getting from her. I haven't worked with her before, and my perception is that she's a voice of reason and will work with people on both sides of the aisle. And she has a lot of experience, knows how to legislate. She's been in the legislature for 8 years. So I'm hoping for great things.
This is all great news. Great news. Another person on the phone?
Yeah, Dogtown Joe, he has a message for everybody since this is county business information, city and county, basically. Go ahead, Dogtown Joe. How are you, man?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Vic. Love your show.
Thanks.
Everybody, it's getting cold outside. Just don't forget to turn off the outside water. Don't forget to turn off your
The spigots
water.
outside, yeah.
Yep.
That was it.
Thanks,
Okay.
buddy.
Joe, Vic.
Thanks, Joe.
Bring those hoses in.
Yeah, he's an insurance adjuster, he said, or something like that. And he
Sure.
said, hey, this is a top of mind thing because he gets a lot of experience with that.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Yeah.
All right. So what have we learned here? Gretchen Banger.
Yeah,
Is that her name?
Banger. There's a T in
Will
there.
she mind if I just call her Banger?
Here he goes.
What do you, what's that supposed to mean?
You're gonna make it. You're gonna call her that anyway. You're gonna call her that.
I think this is great news.
It is great.
You should have walked in with confetti and everything.
Well,
for this.
you know, it's probably too early for that, but
Dunaway's gone. That's great news.
Well, that is a good thing. That is a good thing. So, so yeah, it's a funny thing. You know, we have a rule: if you miss 4 meetings at a time, you could be removed from the council. She always misses 3. And so then the clock starts again. So
she is the absolute worst. Actually, I shouldn't say she's the worst. Her and Clancy equal worse, equal bad.
It's for all different reasons. But so I don't know if you heard, we had a meeting last week. I got on the news about that over our prosecuting attorney's office. So what happened there was that we've been dealing with their budget going forward, and with Wesley Bell leaving, and he's checked out months ago. And he's spending all of his time in D.C. or wherever he is, who knows, but he's not spending his time in our prosecutor's office. And there's uproar over there. There's people very upset, on the verge of quitting because of the way he's mismanaged that department. So we had a budget meeting the other day. His chief of staff came in. I must have got her rattled. And there's a clip on Fox, I think it's Fox 2, about her getting rattled with my questions.
All right.
I saw that actually.
And so she goes, why are you asking that if you already know the answer? And I said, don't need to get hostile.
What's her name?
Her name is
That's okay.
So
I was just gonna say if we need to pay her a visit.
Yeah. Well, there'll be more. There's going to be more. So
call Sally Bones, pay a visit.
Yeah. So what we're gonna have to do is going forward is that was a budget meeting. We're going to have another meeting on basically with the operation of the department. And we've got people that, I started out the questioning and I told everybody, because I knew a lot of the people in the prosecuting attorney's office were listening to the meeting on Boxcast. Okay. So I made a statement. I said, anyone listening here that wishes to participate in our investigation will have whistleblower protection, both by the state and by our county ordinance.
Wow, that's great.
And made that statement, and so I've gotten calls ever since. People say, I know a little bit about this and I know a little bit about that. So
I'm glad you brought that up, though.
Yeah. So we're going to see see if they actually step up and give us the information we need. I do have a banker box full of stuff already from people that have given us things, and I hope to fill up some more. So hopefully we can do that going forward.
When they hear whistleblower, they start getting nervous.
Their ears perk up. Yeah.
Yeah. And people just, they understand Wesley's been checked out for a while. And they want the best for the department, but they don't see his leadership as anything stellar. That's for sure.
Right, Mark Carter, St. Louis County Council. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for squeezing me in.
You bet. Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition, a guy we've been talking to him for 3 years, right?
Yeah,
at least that long. And he's going to join us next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Follow us on Rumble at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Say it with me. See, say Broadway.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's NewstalkSTL. St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
It's time that everybody wake up and pay attention.
Live and local.
Recent criminal indictment of Donald Trump. About the fourth one. The fourth one. The one he got the free gift with. Punch. I think it's a tote bag.
This is News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner Home Selling Team.
Are you sitting on hidden treasure? Manchester Coin and Jewelry wants to turn your valuables into cash. We're Missouri's premier gold buyers and jewelry specialists. With years of expertise, we offer top dollar for your coins, antiques, precious metals, and collectibles. From gold and silver to clocks and jewelry, we buy it all. Don't let your treasures collect dust. Let Manchester Coin and Jewelry give you the best value. Visit online at buyingvaluables.net or come see him today at 141 in Manchester and tell him NewstalkSTL sent you.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res in November and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020. or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Fox News commentary.
Democrats have learned nothing from their 2024 defeat, and guess who is favored to run in 2028? I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
A horrible candidate in 2020. She didn't even make it to 2020 before dropping out of the Democratic primary. She was an even worse candidate in 2024, and the exit polls second that notion. So why then would Democrats be foolish enough to run her in 2028? Well, according to a survey by Echelon Insights, Kamala Harris is the top choice of Democrat voters in 2028, and she is way ahead of other party favorites like Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, and Pete Buttigieg. This survey asked Democrat-leaning subset of 1,010 voters which politician they would vote for if the party primary was held today, and a staggering 41% of respondents selected Kamala. Newsom was the closest second with only 8% of the vote. Would the Democratic Party really be dumb enough to run this failed experiment a third time? Well, as a Republican, I admit I selfishly hope they do. I'm Tommy Lahren.
This hour, The Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
On NewstalkSTL.
I believe this is the Blitzkrieg Bop, isn't it? By the Ramones? Fabulous. All right, let's get right to it. Again, sorry about the chat box. Write Mark Harder. Send all your cards and letters and emails to Mark Harder. Walked in with his trumpets and his fanfare. What are we going to do? We can't say no.
No.
So we owe you guys tomorrow. Ken, if we don't get to the chat box tomorrow, I would like a stiff punishment for me. Okay?
Okay.
You figure out what that is. All right. One of our great friends from CO2 Coalition, he is Gregory Wrightstone. Gregory, good morning. How are you? Welcome back to the show.
Oh, my goodness. Glad to be back on with you. Boy, there's a lot going on, isn't there?
Too much sometimes.
Yeah. And it's almost all good. We've got abundance of riches. And what I tell our people here at the CO2 Coalition, at least for the climate change front, is I've been saying it for 4 years, and it's becoming more and more obvious every week and every day. We are winning, and the American public is waking up to this climate crisis nonsense.
So I got to tell you, we're going to play a piece of audio here in a second, but I want to tell you, you were one of the first people on this show that made me feel smart.
3 years ago.
because it was 3 because I've done music radio for 35 years, and this is my first kind of foray into talk radio. And I said to you a long time ago, I said, they don't want CO2 in the air. I said, well, wouldn't it be a better idea instead of making people buy EVs to just plant some more trees? Don't they take in CO2 and give off oxygen? And you said you're absolutely right. So you were the first person to make me feel smart. Well, Ken, and then you.
Well, yeah, it's true, but the assumption there is CO2 is bad, and it's not. The truth of the matter is CO2 is hugely beneficial, and that's really the genesis of my new book is how much modest warming we've had, more warming trend, no doubt. It's been warming for more than 300 years, but this combination of modest warming and more CO2 are just hugely beneficial to Earth's ecosystems and by extension to humanity. The human conditions improving, ecosystems, almost every metric we look at, our ecosystems are thriving and prospering. I call it the greatest untold story of the 21st century, that of a thriving Earth and huge benefits to humanity.
So somebody who absolutely agrees with you, Emeritus Professor of Physics at Princeton University, William Happer, he's saying kind of exactly what you're saying.
What is it that the climate catastrophists are getting wrong about CO2?
More CO2 is good for the world. It's not bad for the world. And so it's absurd to be trying to reduce CO2 with all the other problems, with the absurd projections of lower costs for renewable energy. It's clearly a lie. It's not true.
And explain to us how is, in your opinion, as a Princeton professor and climate scientist and physicist, how is CO2 good for the world?
Well, for the first thing, if you look at geological history, we're in a CO2 famine now compared to what is normal for plants.
Agreed?
Yeah, and coincidentally, I'll be meeting with Professor Dr. Happer tomorrow, along with Dr. Steve Koonin, who's got a new they're joining me here at the CO2 Coalition, and we're getting together to talk about climate change and how we can further this message of a prospering Earth. And it's a great honor for them. They're coming here to the CO2 Coalition to discuss exactly what we're talking about.
Now, Dr. Wrightstone, let me ask you this question then. In the last 4 years and then during the Obama administration, did they ever consult you and these other professionals, these other experts about climate change?
Of course not. Dr. Happer, though, was brought into the Trump administration as a science advisor. And in fact, he can tell the story. I'm not sure how much I'm at liberty to tell about the inner workings of him in the Trump administration. But Dr. Happer wanted a red team, blue team, a scenario where they put up the blue team, which is what they're proposing to do, and then the red team tries to tear it apart and knock it down. They use this red team, blue team for everything else. If it's a new missile system, a new jet, a new airplane, anything else, rockets, in NASA, they do red team, blue team. They're going, okay, this is what you want to do. Okay, you guys on this team over here, tear it apart, knock it down, see if you can kill it. And they go back and forth, and that's how you find out what really, and that's what Dr. Happer was proposing for the Trump administration. Donald Trump wanted it to happen, and there were certain people in the administration whose names you would know who were adamantly opposed to anything like that. They wanted to stay away from climate change, any discussion, because they thought it was a vote loser for them. And so that was one of the things Dr. Happer was pushing. And I think what it is, they're assuming consensus science, that there's a consensus that human emissions of CO2 are driving Earth's temperatures to dangerous levels that we're looking at a climate crisis. And consensus science just is not the way science is done. Famously, Michael Crichton, the famous science fiction author, he's also a PhD, he famously said, consensus is not science and science is not consensus. But my favorite quote is from physicist Richard Feynman, who said, I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. And that's what we have. That's what we have right now, don't we, with the climate crisis? They're telling us what the answer is, and you dare not question them. They're telling us there's a climate crisis and it's because of us, and we're providing the evidence, the facts, the science, the data says you're just wrong, and here's why. And they can't allow us. They need to silence us. If we get this message out there, and because we tell a compelling fact-based narrative, not only is there not a climate crisis, my Lord, from every aspect you look at it, life is good and getting better, and Earth is thriving. Bam.
The one thing that bugs me, Gregory, is the way that we let this happen. We let the left take over this conversation, and we didn't fight back, and that just makes me crazy. Okay, so we'll look forward to some of the conversations you had with Dr. Happer, and that'll be cool to talk about the next time we talk. Tell us about the new book, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, the title is A Very Convenient Warming, How Modest Warming and More CO2 Are Benefiting Humanity. It's a great read. I think it's like number 9 today on the bestseller for Amazon. Just look for just 2 words, convenient warming. Google web search convenient warming to get to it. And to get the science facts, go to CO2coalition.org, CO2coalition.org.
Fantastic.
But get convenient warming.
Gregory Wrightstone, from the Executive Director of the CO2 Coalition. We will chat again soon, and thank you so much for your time again, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so everybody's got their panties in a bun here in the chat box. I don't know if you've looked at it at all.
Yeah.
Ed Stoich's like, it's 10:25. Huh. Heard that before. Upstaged by Harder. Now we know the weight the Chatter's listeners have. Maybe we'll be here tomorrow for a chat segment, or maybe we won't. Here we are, Ed, okay? It's Duke's birthday today, and he says it's double Woosh Wednesday and my birthday. Can we give him a couple of whooshes?
Whoosh.
Okay.
Whoosh.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America. No for election.
No peace.
No for election.
No peace.
They're still counting ballots in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there's still no peace.
No peace. Good morning, all you mega, ultra patriotic, deplorable, garbage, freedom, nothing, fighting God. I screwed it up, Ed. I'm so sorry. It's a beautiful day the Lord has made. Going to take a walk and listen to Vic and Ken. Appreciate that. I'm surprised they didn't turn us off. There's a whole chat box controversy. Go Nancy Mace. She's spot on, and they can't challenge her reasoning. Lib turds. Stop it. I still won't go to Target, buy Bud Light, etc. They want that? Okay. I just don't have to use them. Party of peace and acceptance. Yep. Exactly why I don't want freaks in the women's bathroom. Exactly right.
That's it.
There is a Facebook page I monitor called The Other 98%. It's a left-wing hate group. Unbelievable, the stuff it spews.
Ooh, you can put stuff on the chat box that they say. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so that's for 6856. Let us know about that. Fakalak, state-run media. I'm just reading them, guys. The context, I don't know. We'll have to move right along. Lay down, Saki. Have you heard the ugly that comes out of her mouth? She really is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she was smart at least.
Right.
But she's not. Keep preaching, Pastor. Pastor Lowery, I'll tell you, man, people love him. And he was so great. He was talking. I didn't want to interrupt him. But just one of many people on the great roster at Project 21 that we talked to.
Yeah.
Donna Jackson, Michael Austin, Emery McClendon, Greg DeLuce. We just talked to him recently. Melanie Collette, who we talked to only because she's black, not because she's smart or anything. She'll say, I knew it.
Yeah.
She's the best. And, of course, Pastor Lowery. Okay. All right, where are we? Let's go over to the Facebook real quick. Good Wednesday morning, freedom fighters. Whoosh Wednesday to you. Would that be a cross-dresser? Cross-dresser, transvestite, those are the words we used to use, but they had to change the language, right?
But Vic, on Rumble, we still have Duke. Duke J says it's Double Wish Wednesday, and it's his birthday.
I just said that.
Oh, did you?
I just said that.
I was just.
Thanks for listening.
I apologize
Appreciate
because
it.
I was reading.
Thanks for listening. My own
Sorry,
boss
man.
doesn't listen to me.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
Good morning, gents and fellow Vic heads. Have a great day, everyone. You cannot chemically or surgically change a man into a woman. End of story. You know, we're all preaching to the choir here, you know. There's two genders. There's a man and a woman. Woman is a woman, and a man ain't nothing but a man.
Right.
If I win the gift certificate, I'm buying a pinky ring. Forget about it.
Wow.
Get a pinky ring. Wait, Barry, nothing for the wife? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with her?
She deserves it.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter?
Isn't it weird that they do that? Good morning, Patriot kids. Keep in mind, when you go to the chat box and you put something in there, we're probably not going to talk about it till way later.
Right.
So a little context would be fabulous. Yeah. I haven't seen the church at any school board meetings. I haven't seen the church standing up for the children saying, hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. I haven't seen them say,
leave those kids alone.
Counselors, stop messing up their minds. Yeah, we need God back into our lives, into schools, into government, everywhere.
And I agree. I think our churches do need to step up for the kids. If anything, if you're trying to be quiet politically, I get it. But for the kids, that crosses the line, and you need to help.
And Kathleen says, thank you, Speaker Tim Jones, for saying what we're all thinking. What about us? We're not saying what you're thinking? What are you, pushing us out, Kathleen? Are we out? Thank you. You say that pretty good, Ken. You say it like a real Italian. Thank you so much for having upstage by Harder. Thanks for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Joe wanders into the Amazon rainforest.
Yep.
Dan Bongino is next. Is he going to be the next Secret Service director? I don't know. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Mayela Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In Athens, Georgia, the verdict is in. Guilty. A Venezuelan man has been convicted of murder in the killing of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. Jose Ibarra, who was in the U.S. illegally, has been charged with murder and other crimes in Riley's death. The guilty verdict was reached by Athens Clark County Superior Court Judge H. Patrick Haggard. Ibarra had waived his right to a jury trial, meaning that Haggard alone heard and decided this case. The killing added fuel to the national debate over immigration when federal authorities said Ibarra illegally entered the U.S. in 2022 and was allowed to stay in the country, reportedly while he pursued his immigration case. South Carolina Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace says she received death threats amid backlash to her proposed legislation to bar transgender women from women's facilities on Capitol Hill. Bernie Bennett with that story.
May said she had plans to put the bill on the 119th Congress rules package or bring it to the floor as a standalone rule. She began flagging the issue with fellow Congress members after Representative-elect Sarah McBride of Delaware became the first openly transgender person elected to Congress. When House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries shared that he opposed a resolution, Mace called him and others that disagree bullies who would not force her into submission. Mace said her concerns over who can access single-sex facilities stems from being a survivor of assault. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, Susan Smith will ask a parole board in South Carolina for her freedom for the first time today. The 53-year-old rolled her car into a lake in 1994 with her 3-year-old and 14-month-old son still strapped inside. Smith serving a life sentence for murder. That's after a jury decided not to sentence her to death. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta, now open in the district of Chesterfield Valley. Napoli has the only coal-fired pizza oven. That means an incredible taste you cannot get anywhere else. So enjoy a unique pizza at Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the district. And then walk a few doors down and enjoy premium cigars and drinks at Lit Cigar Lounge. There's a perfect way to end the evening. Napoli Pizza followed by Lit Cigar Lounge, a winning combination.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns. Spice things up a little bit. Novelties, lingeries, videos, oils, lube, and more. If you're looking for something out of the ordinary, Dr. Johns has you covered. Your one-stop shop destination to fulfill all your fantasy and add some zing to your love life. 3 locations in Fenton, Farmington, and Wood River. So be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns, and be sure you tell him News Talk STL sent you.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the Morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
Listen, one of the things about this show, I know Jim and me and Mike and the whole crew, we really kind of pride ourselves on is we try to be a couple weeks, months, or sometimes years, I think, on the January 6th pipe bomber story, right, Jim? I mean, years ahead of the story, probably. I mean, it was going to be 4 years. It's been an actual 4 years soon. But, you know, in the news cycle, it's one thing to tell you what they told you and tell you what happened, and it's another thing to tell you what's going to happen. And, you know, it's not because we have any special skills or anything like that. It's just, if you put enough attention into reading very specific tea leaves, if I don't know, might be into, if you know who to follow on Twitter and if you know who to follow on Twitter and elsewhere, you'll see certain patterns developing, and it becomes fairly obvious that you're going to have to deal with something, especially on the left. The left is really, really good at doing this thing. This thing is telling you a story and not the story. The left is very skilled at this. They're like magicians. They're like a hand legerdemain. They're really good at this. They can make you ever been to Times Square in the 80s where they play that game with look where the little marble is under the shell game, and magically you never win. And the guy who does win is actually part of the shell game. It's all a scam. The left is really good at that. I don't know if you know that, but you could never actually win that game. If you were a cop in Times Square, you knew. Yeah, 3-card money. Yeah, there was no way to win that game. The guy who won was part of the scam. That's the left. They are really, really good at telling you a story, not the story. Now, we've been kind of warning you right after Election Day, and I don't want to take any kind of air out of the balloon because, you know, I want you guys and ladies out there to feel good. I don't want you to it doesn't do the show or anyone else any good to not take a little bit of a breather after the election for a couple of days and enjoy the work product of what you just created. You created this electoral red wave, and it was one. Folks, there's no metric by which to measure the past election that just happened 2+ weeks ago. No metric by which this doesn't qualify as a wave election. I'm sorry. You know me, I was very hesitant to mention the term. I mean, come on, if you listen to the show, I'd hang up on you if you even mentioned it. Because candidly, I thought it would go well, but I wasn't sure how well. This was a solid, strong election. I'm still not convinced we lost that Senate race in Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, I wasn't sure about that race. I gave McCormick probably a 30% shot. That race is over. I don't care what Bob Casey tells you. There was a lot that happened. You know, and they keep making waves, the Democrats. Well, look, the House, you're only going to have a 2-seat majority. You know what they candidly, they intentionally leave out? They leave out that they gerrymandered New York and they're still counting votes in California. You know how many congressional seats are in New York and California? A lot. So it's weird. Like, that's the only solace they can take is schemes and scams. So we've been mentioning to you on the show that be really careful because the left is going to get their sea legs. They are. They're not going to stay down for long, and they're going to start to create a story, not the story about the election. The story, it was a red wave, dominated by Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, period. That is a factually accurate statement. But I had said to you that all of these interests on the left, they were not going to give up easily. They weren't just going to dance off into the night. Folks, you got to understand with these people on the left, it's not just about ideology like it is for, say, a Bernie Sanders. It's about money. The things communists like Biden and Harris did in allocating taxpayer resources to their preferred political constituencies, it's basically the essence of what communism is. Collectivizing the economy, socializing the benefits of your hard work. There was a lot of money involved. When I say trillions, I mean trillions. It's not an Austin Powers $1 million. No, I mean an actual trillions of dollars. Between the Inflation Production Act, the CHIPS Act, the American Rescue Plan, and all of this money printing largesse they flushed out into the public, folks, there are a lot of people out there that got really rich off your tax dollars. I mean, think about it. They stole your tax dollars from you because they can legally do that. That's why I can't stand government. At the end of a barrel of a gun, they take your money. There's nothing you could do about it. You go to jail, right? They took your money and they gave your money to billion-dollar chip fabricators called fabs, and then ran against the evil rich people they made richer by stealing your money. Libbies, I know right now you're peeing in your diapers, but you can take the cotton out of your ears and stick it in your mouth. You can shut your pie hole, because that is exactly what happened. No, it's not my characterization of what happened. It's what happened. The Biden-Harris team took taxpayer dollars paid for by middle-class Americans who work for a living, gave them to billion-dollar companies in the green business, in the green energy business, in the chip fab business, and then ran against rich people who they made richer. That's a fact. You may not like it, but you can plant a big wet one on my caboose because you just don't like it because it's true. There's money at stake. There are still tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars yet to be allocated. So let me land that plane. Some of these very influential folks that are about to get tens and hundreds of billions of dollars of your money are now worried the Trump team's going to come in and clean this mess up, and that's going to disappear. They weren't going to stay down for long. There were a lot of people hoping, and this is what I was trying to warn against after election night without being a Debbie Downer on you here, that it wasn't going to be long before they got their sea legs and started reframing the election, or trying to, as something other than it was, which is a popular mandate. Why? Because they want their money. And they feel like if they don't start to fight back now and start to marshal their forces, that they're going to lose that gravy train, which could mean the end to them and their businesses. They surgically attached themselves to the government. You know what I'm talking about. And now there's no other food source for them. You think they were just going to, again, slowly dance off? You think they were going to pull, the Irish exit? My mother's Irish in Jersey. You know what the Irish exit is? It's where you just leave a party, you don't say goodbye to anyone. My brother does it all the time. I'm half Italian, Bongino, but my mother's Irish in Jersey. You think they were going to do the Irish exit? No way, kids. Not a chance. They're going to fight for every last dollar of your money, because that's what they do. They feed at the trough, and the trough is drying up, coming up in January when Trump is sworn in, and they know it. The announcement of the Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, has them really quaking in their boots, folks. They know Elon Musk, he may not have legislative power, he doesn't. But they know when Elon and Vivek find the trillions of dollars of government waste over decades, that's going to go out on Twitter. And lawmakers are going to have a tough time justifying why they're doing a study on shrimp, the effects of cocaine the next day on the shrimp population. And be like, what the hell is the government doing that for? The effect on the speckled-toed sloth of ketamine and tequila on a Friday night. It's like, is that a big problem? Are they drinking? Are they out partying in the club? Are they doing 50 Cent in the club? What's going on there? They know it's going to be embarrassing. But there are people who profit off that stuff. That's why you're starting to hear this. And we with the Bongino Show here were way ahead of this. We warned you last week. They were going to start to find something in the election. They tried to go win the election outright. They lost the Electoral College. Then they were going to say, well, at least we won the popular vote. That didn't happen either. They got smoked in the popular vote. So here's their new narrative. And Jim, who do we go to when we want crazy liberal narratives? I mean, come on. Is this not easy, right? And the five, who do we go to? There you go. whenever you want a crazy left-wing narrative, most of it's usually nonsense anyway. Tarloff from the 5 is absolutely fantastic at putting out the worst left-wing narratives ever. I'm telling you, you'll be a week ahead. Just listen to her. Someone tells her, because the 5's a super popular show, the most popular news show in cable by far, right? She's a powerful voice for the left. She is. I mean, you may not like it. I certainly don't. But she is. She is on the most watched show in cable news. She gets the talking points ahead of people. Here's the new talking point. Jim, cue up for me, cut 1. She's now trying to flip this popular mandate story because the people still want their money by claiming, this wasn't really so bad, the wipeout for the they didn't win a single swing state. No, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it's not like he won Right. He lost 2,500 counties, only 3,000 counties in the United States. But don't worry, it really wasn't too bad. Here, check this out.
One thing, though, that I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of work to do, because there absolutely is. For people who are talking about this as if we got completely decimated, the numbers don't bear that out. So Trump didn't cross 50% of the popular vote. So a majority of Americans didn't vote for him. And Senate Democrats performed really well. So people like Ruben Gallego, Tammy Baldwin, Jackie Rosen in Nevada, they ran 7-8 points ahead of Kamala Harris, which is what was predicted. And that does show that this normie coalition can't exist. It was that Trump had a special sauce at the top of the ticket for a lot of people.
I don't even, it's really hard for me to respond to that special kind of ignorance. A majority of American, Jessica, he won like 49.99672%. Really? Like, you're talking about a rounding error that in politics, you and I both know is absolutely insignificant. And the point is, this is not right, exactly. And factoring in the fraud, by the way, and the scams, you could throw that argument out the window. And California magically is still counting votes, which is incredible. I mean, that they're still, quote, counting votes. I mean, California's got the worst system I've ever seen. But we're not in a parliamentary system. It's a binary. A or B, 1 or 2, X or Y. There were effectively 2 choices. Of those 2 choices, the American people said, do more of you want this choice or the other one? And more people by a country mile said, we want the MAGA choice. I'm really sorry you can't accept that happened in nearly every single, well, not in every swing state for Trump. The only reason I say nearly is because Sam Brown and Eric Hovde, who, by the way, I'm not even so convinced those races were clean at all, came within a hair of basically sending a one-way ticket out of D.C. to 2, multi-term and basically liberal establishment politicians. You think this is a success story? I told you they were going to go there. They're going to start now. Oh, my gosh, his victory was big, but it wasn't big enough. Here's Harry Enton over at CNN. I'm telling you, the talking point went out. Here's their new talking point, filtering its way across the liberal ecosystem, that it was a big victory, but it wasn't big enough, and it certainly wasn't a mandate. Check this out.
His popular vote victory ranks 44th out of 51. That ain't exactly strong. Some might argue that is weak, in the words of Tony Blair. In fact, his popular vote win at this point is the weakest, going all the way back. You have to go all the way back to 2000 to find a weaker one, a smaller popular vote victory than Donald Trump currently has. So, yeah, Trump has won the popular vote, but it ain't all that, my dear friend.
You see where they're going with this? Here's Alexander Soros. Yes, son of George Soros. It's not a powerful mandate. The numbers are important. This was a close election, not a surprise. No, bro, it wasn't. It wasn't. And the fact that Harry Enton, Jessica Tarloff, and Alexander Soros don't acknowledge this one simple fact. You guys had academia. You had the media. You had social media censoring for you for effectively 8 years. You had fake fact checkers. You had ABC, NBC, and CBS, and CNN, and MSNBC, and the New York Times, and Washington Post, the Chicago Trib, the LA Times. You basically controlled every single traditional lever of power in the culture and politics side. and you still lost every single swing state. Please stop the nonsense. This was a mandate. You got your asses kicked, and you know it. Not saying you're not going to come back. You could do well in the midterms. You may win in 4 years. But it's time to be honest with yourselves. You got smoked. But understand why they're doing it. Always, always follow the money. We'll be right back. I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is around the corner. And if you're thinking about what to get the firearms enthusiasts on your list, I highly recommend the rifles, shotguns, and revolvers made here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Henry has 200 models to choose from in a wide variety of calibers, styles, and prices, and you can't go wrong with any of them. The easiest way to check out Henry's firearms is to order a copy of their free holiday gift guide. Just go to their website. It's henryusa.com and click on the catalog button in the top right corner. They'll mail the gift guide with a few decals, and it won't cost you a thing. If you give someone a Henry for Christmas, you're giving them a family heirloom built with the finest craftsmanship and performance I've ever seen. They look great. They shoot straight. They're so reliable. They're backed by a lifetime warranty for 100% satisfaction. So if you want to put something made in America under the Christmas tree, make sure you order their free gift guide and decals today from Henry Repeating Arms. That's henryusa.com for a free gift guide and decals. henryusa.com. You're going to love this company.
Dan Bongino.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call. Every day, something new. No one else is really talking about this. I'm glad you're fired up about it, too. Trump's doing the right thing. You know, there's so many issues.
It's over.
I think you're politically wrong.
Very upset.
I will have to agree with you. You're one of the sweetest guys in the world. For a guy who's so bad on politics.
101.9 and 94.1.
Your platform is like really, really important to us.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Tim Jones. Tim Jones. Woosh, good morning.
I saw this great little meme. If we could just jail Trump, get rid of MAGA in the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID and censor free speech, liberals say we could save democracy. These people are insane.
They say that cat Tim Jones is a bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
We're talking about Tim Jones.
I know. Timmy.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there is a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-pressure colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Chris Arps here, and I'm thankful for my relationship with Christ, my wonderful wife, Becky, and the opportunity to speak to the great listeners of News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo, and as we approach another holiday season, I am thankful that my family continues to be happy and healthy. Oh, and I'm also glad I don't work for George Soros.
News Talk STL, celebrating family and friends this season of Thanksgiving. Brought to you by Mobile Magic Auto Body, Blue Sky Apparel and Promotions, and Super Smokers Barbecue.
News, analysis, opinion.
News Talk STL.
Bongino Golden Rule number 2. We think libs have bad ideas. Libs think we're bad people. The Dan Bongino Show.
That's still my favorite line because it's so true. We're perfectly content to argue with liberals based on their terrible ideas. And what do they always turn it back to? You're a racist, Nazi, fascist. It's insane. Try to argue with a liberal. It's not a waste of time, though, because as I've said often, there's always a third person listening. And I promise you'll convince them if you stay rational while they scream in your face and pee their diapers. You're a racist. Folks, here's more good news. So there's a bracing new poll for Democrats. Puck News covered it. That's a P. So I want to be clear. I know what the FCC thing. Even Brendan Carney, I'm not sure even he. That's a P. Puck News. Voters so far approve of the Trump transition. Nice. The Republican Party is now more popular than the Democrat Party. I didn't see that coming. We've never been a populist movement. We are now. Most Democrats now want to move past Kamala. That's the only piece of bad news. Jim and I are strongly considering a Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton ticket for 2028. Jim and I are strongly considering funding a PAC. Yeah, Mike's in too. Mike's like, I'll make my donation today. He's like standing by. Then it notes, podcast boosted Donald Trump in the poll. That we are the news now, folks. What was one of the podcasts he did before the election? Yep, this one, the Dan Bongino Show. And it made a big difference. Read that new Pew Research, Edison Research. We're the news now, folks. Mainstream media is not mainstream anymore. They think they are. And finally, only 12% of voters pay for news. There you go. That's why it's great to be on radio. Radio is free. We were the ones who took this election back because we're the news now. Just go to KTTH, WLS, wherever you want to listen, and it's all free. I have more of this coming up next. For those of us holding our breath for the past several months, we can exhale. Work can finally be done on the major issues this country is facing, one of the most significant being our national debt. Fact is, our nation is deep in the red, and that debt's a house of cards. It can't quickly be dismantled. So the strategy remains the same. Diversify your savings. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold. So many things are out of our control, out of our president's control. It's important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group, my gold company, will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. And the best news, doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. So text Bongino to 989898 and get your free info kit. Plus, right now through Black Friday, you'll receive a free 1-ounce Silver Eagle for every $5,000 purchase. Protect your savings with Birch Gold. Text Bongino to 989898. Claim your eligibility for free silver today. Message and data rates apply.
Dan Bongino.
Are you pink? This is an SRN News special report. I'm John Scott. In Georgia, a much-awaited verdict has been rendered. A 26-year-old Venezuelan man has been convicted of murder in the killing of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley.
Jose Ibarra was charged with murder and other crimes in Riley's February death. The guilty verdict was rendered late Wednesday morning by Athens Clarke County Superior Court Judge H. Patrick Haggard. Ibarra had waived his right to a jury trial meaning that Haggard alone heard and decided the case. The killing added fuel to the national debate over immigration when federal authorities said Ibarra illegally entered the U.S. in 2022 and was allowed to stay in the country while he pursued his immigration case.
Correspondent Jeremy House reported Judge Haggard is expected to sentence Ibarra in the next few minutes. This has been an SR News Special Report. I'm John Scott.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
St. Louis's place to talk. The American people have further lost faith in our governmental institutions.
People can decide what they want and how they want to live.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Tim Jones here for my favorite St. Louis Sports Bar and Grill experience, the go-to spot of Johnny's Hideout. Johnny's Hideout featuring over 40 big screen TVs to watch all the great games this college and NFL season. Awesome food specials every single day that I absolutely love. Bike nights, classic cars on Wednesdays, live music every weekend, and a fantastic time to visit the gorgeous Sunset Patio. Located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. onwards. All the information you need to know at jhideout.com. That's jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial, everlasting protection.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo. Come see my band, Tony Colombo and the North County Sound Machine, featuring Katie Fitzpatrick, a tribute to Duran Duran, and Somebody to Love, a tribute to Queen. Saturday, November 30th at Diamond Music Hall, brought to you by Weber Chevrolet. Get your tickets now at diamondmusichall.com.
Hi, I'm Officer John Van Gordon, recruiter with the Springfield Police Department. We are currently looking for driven, qualified, and team-oriented citizens to become the next generation of community-minded servants here in Springfield. Our salaries and benefits are paid from day one. Plus, right now, new recruits are eligible to receive a $5,000 hiring incentive, and experienced officers looking to transfer are eligible for $10,000. To learn more, visit gospd.com. That's gospd.com.
Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
What's up with Jack Smith's latest Trump report? Zach Smith of Heritage at 4:20. At 5:20, Terry Schilling, why cultural extremism cost Dems the election.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Be heard. Call 844-4-the-USA now to let Dan know what you think. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
That may be one of the funniest conversations we've had in a long time about Bongino Inc. logistics. So if you watch the stream on Rumble, you know some of the breaks I hang out here in front of the camera. I'm on my phone. Most of them I don't. At 12:30, I go downstairs for my blackout coffee timeout. I always need a little shot of blackout coffee espresso. I enjoy it during the show. So I'm downstairs, and Paula's here in the studio, which is unusual. It's usually just me and my crew. And she's, we're opening up this brand new. We've invested a lot of our hard-earned money into it, this studio, because we want to make the radio show and the podcast a special experience. And you need good equipment, folks. If you're in the audio business, your show sounds and looks like what you pay for. Now, in this new era of content creation, I don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but if you're in the content creation space, anything from TikTok to podcasts to live streaming, content is king. I mean, no one's really watching the show for the background, right, Jim? However, it's the creator i.e. Dan Bongino and his team, it's our obligation, even though I know you're watching and listening for the content, I'm going to give you something good to look at too. I don't want you to look at crap. And I'm just going to be straight with you. For the last few years, we've had a pretty simple studio. Jim's been here a lot. It's basically a converted apartment, jerry-rigged with, right, Jim? Like wires on top of wires, on top of wires, on top of equipment. Some of it doesn't even work anymore. And for the last year and a half, we've been building this massive studio, and it is almost done. The studio goes in December 2nd. We're hoping it's open and cracking by the new year. And I'm downstairs with Paula, and she's like, I need you to make a call on this one. You know, I mean, it's Bongino Inc. Well, she's Bongino too, but she's always, you know, she's good. She always goes to me for these. And I'm thinking it's some big decision. Like, hey, man, if we don't do this, the live streams, it's like, it's a huge decision. I'm like, all right, like, lay it on me. What is it? She's like, we have this really open space in the back, and there's just grass back there now. And she's like, I think it'd be cool for the guys and, you know, folks who come by to listen to the show, because we're going to open it up to the studio to our regular listeners. We're going to let you come in and watch shows live, right? She goes, real dramatic. I think we should put a mini golf course back there. Jim, am I making this up? I am not making it up. So I said, she wants to put like a 4-hole mini golf course back there. Not for me. I don't golf. I can't golf at all. I'm the worst golfer ever. Mini golf, big golf, small golf, 8 holes, 10 holes, 18 holes. I suck. I can't golf at all, right? So I said, you know what? That's probably a bad question for me. I said, go ask Guy. Guy is the EP of the podcast. So I said, you know, Guy's going to be there. And Guy's like, I am all in on the mini golf idea. Jim's like, I think I may work out of the Florida studio now. So if you come down and watch the show live, maybe we'll play a couple holes of mini golf. I will lose to whoever it is listening. I'm terrible. I'd lose to a 5-year-old. But Paula thinks it's a good idea. So I always kind of let you guys, let you into my life because you all matter to me so much. It's a family. So there you go. It's going to be Paula's gift to the listeners. Little mini golf course in the back. Crazy. You know what's crazy? It really wasn't that expensive either. I thought she was going to give me some like $100,000 quote. It really isn't that bad. Like not at all. So there you go, Paula. Always thinking ahead. All right, back to the show. Folks, listen, I warned you a while ago about the cutesy time being over and that there was a schism developing on the left. It's our job as, you know, Magadonians and conservatives and Tea Partiers and libertarians to understand our political opponents better than they understand us, right? I mean, it sounds pretty simple. It does sound simple, but the left never does that, which is really weird because they continue to lose. I can make a strong case they lost in 2020, they lost in 2016, and they lost in 2024. They keep losing to us, yet they have control of academia, sports, entertainment, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, Washington Post, Chicago newspapers, LA Times, the New York Times. They have control of all the major levers of traditional media and entertainment, and yet they continue to drop L's. Not every time. They didn't perform horribly in the last midterm, but think about it. They're controlling every major cultural force out there. And shockingly, they are still managing to lose. Now, to a normal person, i.e. not the left, you would start to say to yourself, right, Jim, if you're not a crazy person, gosh, what are we doing wrong that we have successfully put the fear of God into the entertainment community, even country music in many places, right? Sports, academia, the list I just read through. We control everything, and yet people are still rejecting us. Normal people would say, let's try to understand what the other side is doing that's leading to this success. That's not what's happening. There is a schism developing on the left, and it's up to you to understand it and understand it well. Because if you do, we'll continue to win. If you don't, you ignore it, they're going to catch up, and we don't want that. The schism is this. The crazies on the left, the far left radicals, the AOCs, the Pramila Jayapals, the Bernie Sanders, the Liz Warrens, there is no moment of self-reflection going on at all with the crazies. As a matter of fact, their moment of non-reflection is this. We lost because we weren't liberal enough. I'm not kidding. You don't have to doubt. Actually, I welcome your doubt, actually. I take that back. Scratch that. Go to their Twitter feeds and read their posts from the last week. Go do it. Go do it now. I won't mind. Just listen, keep the show on in the background. I'm right there. You can see it right there, right? If you're watching and you're reading. The gist of their post is we just weren't liberal enough. That's insane. Like, that's really, that's insane. It's like, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? But that's a pretty significant part of the Democrat Party. Then you've got another part of the Democrat Party. You've got the Harold Ford Jr.'s from the Five, the Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, who's been going to war with the left. I mean, listen, folks, Cenk was nice enough to come on my show. We debated. It was very respectful and gentlemanly. No one was cursing at each other. We weren't talking over each other. We just disagree. Cenk says, I want to help people. I think government's the vehicle to do it. My take was, that's insane. The government can't do anything right. Like, the government only hurts people. We listen to the debate. It's still on my Rumble channel. It's a pretty good debate. I think we both got our points across. Why are you laughing, Jim? No, I know the Lichtman. My dad. If you saw Cenk with Alan Lichtman, which I'm going to try to get to today, I got to it on the podcast. You'll see what I mean. So Cenk, Harold Ford, and like James Carville, that's the other wing of the Democrat Party, and they're realizing they've got a significant problem. The significant problem they're starting to recognize is that maybe the fear factor didn't work. And I'm not talking about the TV show. I think, and I don't want to speak for them, but I think by listening to them, Cenk's welcome on the show anytime. He can speak for himself. But by listening to what they're saying to their own lefty colleagues, the gist of it is this, that maybe insulting these MAGA people, fake fact-checking them, censoring them, poking fun at them, and calling them expletives and names, maybe that was a dumb strategy, and maybe we should reflect on that. You're seeing some of it. Van Jones doing a little bit of it now, because they're starting to realize that they created a culture of fear. And this is important, and I hope I'm explaining this well. The thing about a culture of fear is it's based on one thing: fear. It's not based on anything of substance like facts and reason. I'll give you a perfect example. For the last 5 to 7 years, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, if you were a business person or a person in the mainstream media, you were obligated to say that a man can become a woman and vice versa. It's insane. It's not based on any science. It's not based on anything. You can call yourself whatever you want. You want to tell me your name is Sarah or Johnny? That's fine. That's your name. I am not going to call you a man if you're a woman, and we never were in this show ever. But as Jim can tell you, folks, over the last 5 years plus, there was a lot of pressure coming from a lot of people. Hey, just leave that stuff alone. Just say it. Just say that the man says that's a woman. It's not the person's not a woman. The person's a man. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to tell you something that's not true. You see how it was based on fear, though? Do you understand what I'm getting at? That everybody knew that. I'm telling you, there's not a person in the United States or anywhere in the known cosmos that actually believed a man could become a woman. You can identify as whatever you want. It doesn't mean I'm going to recognize it. Do you understand? It doesn't mean I'm going to treat you bad. You do your thing. I do my thing. You're entitled to. I actually believe in liberty and freedom. You want to live your life as a woman when you're a man, you do your thing. That's not my thing. So you demanding I get fired because I refuse to recognize a completely unscientific, unreasonable act telling me this biology is now changed is insane. But people were scared. Not this show, man. Go back and listen. We were told on YouTube. You remember this? We were told, if you followed me when I was on YouTube, I'm not anymore. We're on Rumble now. You know why I'm not on YouTube? Because YouTube threatened me. I have the emails. They told me you can't say on your YouTube channel that masks don't prevent COVID. I said, well, that's not scientifically true, so I'm not going to say it. So they tried to scare me. He said, well, we'll demonetize your channel. So I gave him the double-barrel middle finger. And I filmed a video called Why I'm Leaving YouTube. And you know what they did? After we filmed the video, they banned our channel saying, you can't quit, you're fired. So it's not just me, folks. There were a lot of people who stood up. But my point is, there's a schism on the left where some of the saner voices, we don't agree with them, but saner voices are starting to say, maybe that culture of fear was a bad idea, because the minute a few people start to stand up and the second guy dances, it creates a movement and a counterculture. And counterculture can be very powerful. Just ask the hippies. They may not believe in what you believed in. But ladies and gentlemen, there is something very powerful motivating factor behind renegade politics. I told you the original name of my podcast. You guys know what it was? It wasn't the Dan Bongino Show. Man, you got to be a diehard to remember. The original name for years was the Renegade Republican. And I told people listening, how does it feel to be the misfits now? How does it feel to be on the other side of the culture? Because the left always took pride in being counterculture. The left prided themselves against raging against the machine. They are the machine now. You're the ones raging against the machine now. And people want to be part of that. But you were first. Folks, the culture is changing. Did you see that soccer star for the U.S. team doing the Trump dance? John Jones at the UFC? NFL players from Brock Bowers to Seattle Seahawks? Folks, it's everywhere. The culture is changing because people are realizing now that this culture of fear, that the left had stomped their boot on your neck, that if you just stand up and push their leg off, that they had that was it. It was a paper tiger the whole time. Everybody's starting to realize that there's power in counterculture, that being the misfits had some branding value to it, that all of a sudden all these people are joining in going, man, I should have moved first. Well, you didn't, but we'll take you now. Now you have people speaking out, going, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and play this game where a man's a woman and I should acknowledge that a guy should be in the bathroom with my daughter. I'm not going to say that. I applaud the first movers. You ever go to business school, Porter's 5 Forces, the first mover advantage? I applaud the first movers. You had a lot of balls. Thanks for standing with us. No, I appreciate it. You guys were there early when you were banned from X and before when it was Twitter under Jack Dorsey. You stood up when it wasn't easy to do it. But I'm telling you right now, the culture is changing because we've been on the right moral arc of history the entire time. I'll show you what I mean. Receipts coming up next. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Hello, everyone. It's your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, here to introduce something really special. You're going to love it. My new Trump watches. It's one of the best watches made. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know what it's for, who it's for, what it represents. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
That's right. President Trump has won the election, and now he's released his official Trump watches. Celebrate this historic victory with a Trump watch that stands for strength, leadership, and winning. But don't wait, because these limited edition watches won't be around for long. Go to gettrumpwatches.com now to get your Trump watch before they're gone. It's an easy URL to remember, gettrumpwatches.com. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of history. Go now to gettrumpwatches.com and get your watch today. This ad paid for by the Best Watches on Earth, LLC. See gettrumpwatches.com for details. Trump watches are not intended for investment purposes. Hurry! Go now to gettrumpwatches.com.
Dan Bongino.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the NewstalkSTL app.
NewstalkSTL.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the NewstalkSTL app.
Anywhere.
Tim Jones here. I want to tell you about an awesome business located in my hometown of Eureka, Missouri that we use all the time for our exterior homestead needs. Eureka Contracting and Roofing. Veteran owned. They will come to you and schedule a one-on-one consultation. They know that replacing your roof or anything on the exterior of your home is always a really big deal, which is why they've always got a no pressure, no obligation inspection and evaluation. Fully licensed and insured. Nothing but the highest quality of materials made right here in the USA. 636-938-ROOF. 636-938-ROOF. EurekaContracting.com. That's EurekaContracting.com.
Need reliable auto service from people you can trust? Look no further than Western Tire and Auto. For over 15 years, we've been your complete automotive repair center, family owned and operated, with owner Dean Kleethermes bringing 30 years of industry experience. At Western Tire and Auto, you're not just a customer, you're family. We promise 100% satisfaction, treating you with the transparency, respect, and honesty you deserve. Visit us in St. Peters or in Florissant. For appointments, call or check westerntireauto.com. Western Tire and Auto, your local automotive experts since 2008.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Don't miss this year's Moolah Festival of Trees with over 40 gorgeous trees and gifts all decked out to knock you out. Your family won't believe the fabulous gifts, decorated trees, and you can win the tree and all the gifts for just $1. November 23rd to November 30th at the fabulous Moolah Shrine. Meet Santa, get your photo taken, and while you're there, visit the Kris Kringle Cafe for some sweet treats and wonderful food. Trees and gifts valued from $500 to over $10,000. The Festival of Trees at the Moolah Shrine.
Transform your space with JML Interior Design in Clayton. For 32 years, local woman business owner Jeannie Lashmet has been creating stunning interiors that reflect your vision. From residential to commercial, kitchens to corporate spaces, JML Interior Design brings expertise to every project. Planning a home remodel, tackling new construction, or the expert commercial interior space planning service. Jeannie and her team deliver great designs that work. Call 314-453-4233 or visit jmlinteriors.net. JML Interior Design. We just don't dream it, we do it.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Donald Trump is getting close to wrapping up his cabinet, and of course then Senate confirmation. Who's going to stand in the way?
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Our pronouns are whatever the English language says they are. The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, Andrew Breitbart, God rest his soul, was a genius when he said politics is downstream of culture. If you're not going to change the cultural dynamic in a country and you're going to allow a culture of fear where you allow yourself to be fake fact-checked and censored, and you just go along to get along and stay quiet, it really doesn't matter who you vote for because the culture of fear is going to win, and the people in charge are going to realize you're not going to back them up because you're still subjugating yourself, and they're just going to go along to get along too. You're seeing it change. You guys and ladies led the way, make no mistake. But people are starting to jump on. This Trump dance thing may seem kind of silly, and it's not. It's a bigger deal. I've made this argument to you many times. It's a symbol. It's a signal like the MAGA hat. You're seeing them all over liberal cities now. All over the place. I never saw that before. More on this next. For over 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, standing behind their service and their values as a company. They're an example of putting the cause ahead of profits, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. Right now, you can get their Every Friday Matters special today. Patriot Mobile is giving away a brand new smartphone when you make the switch. Patriot Mobile offers exceptional nationwide coverage, giving you access to all 3 major networks without your dollars funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting a company that believes in free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, and more. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, and for a limited time, get a free smartphone. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Friday. Again, that's a free smartphone. Offer is eligible only with the promo code Friday. It's a limited time offer or until supplies run out. Terms and conditions apply. So join me and make the switch today. PatriotMobile.com/Dan. That's PatriotMobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Patriot.
Dan Bongino.
So there's a situation brewing in the House with a trans member on the Democrat side. The trans member is a man. Trans member believes he's a woman. You're allowed to believe whatever you want, man. You got elected. You do your thing. We're just asking you, do not demand we recognize your thing as our thing, because it's not our thing. We believe in science and biology, and that does not comport with biology, science, or our faith, okay? At all. And you insisting that we recognize this is creating a real schism up on Capitol Hill. Speaker Johnson came out yesterday and gave a pretty definitive statement on this, and it's good progress. The first statement was a little soft, and I think he realized there was an issue there. Here he is on this brewing issue up on Capitol Hill. I'm going to get into more of this after the break, but check this out.
Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts.
Okay, libs out there. Libs, tell me what's controversial about anything he just said. People should be treated with dignity? Check. Men are men, women are women? Check. What is it? You see how you have no substantive argument other than to impart fear on others? You can't say that. Why? It's true. Because we said you can't say it. Well, I said it anyway. Well, we're going to censor you and tell you to shut up. You can tell me whatever you want. We're just going to keep talking. There is no argument other than fear. And you know the dancing video I play all the time on my podcast? It's not the first person that dances. It's the second person that joins in that creates a dance party. There's a lot of second people getting up and dancing right now. Good to see you. Join in.
Tim Jones here. I'm here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. What are y'all doing over at the jewelry store?
Wow. Well, first I want to say don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. Get started early. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want. And we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else. There's never any pressure here, just an attentive family that listens and educates you to ensure you're completely happy and the gift you give is perfect.
Experience that fantastic Newstetter's difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Remember those magical moments in Mom's kitchen? The heavenly aroma of fresh baked cookies? At Trolley Stop Bakery in Chesterfield's Forum Shopping Center, our co-op of talented bakers has been perfecting that homemade magic for 4 decades. From the gooeyest cookies in town to custom pies, cobblers, and cakes, everything's made from scratch, just like Mom and Grandma's recipes. And speaking of pies, we're taking Thanksgiving orders now. The Trolley Stop Bakery, 67 Forum Shopping Center, or TrolleyStopBakery.com, because some traditions are too sweet not to share.
Attention. This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no
HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
In Georgia, a 26-year-old Venezuelan man convicted of murder in the killing of nursing student Laken Riley.
Jose Ibarra was charged with murder and other crimes in Riley's February death. The guilty verdict was rendered late Wednesday morning by Athens Clarke County Superior Court Judge H. Patrick Haggard. Ibarra had waived his right to a jury trial, meaning that Haggard alone heard and decided the case. The killing added fuel to the national debate over immigration when federal authorities said Ibarra illegally entered the U.S. in 2022 and was allowed to stay in the country while he pursued his immigration case.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Judge Haggard expected to sentence Ibarra this hour. Also at townhall.com, what is expected to be one of the strongest storms in the northwest U.S. in decades has now arrived. Heavy rain and winds expected to pummel the region, potentially cause power outages and flash floods. This situation expected to last through Friday. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports on political bias at FEMA.
On Capitol Hill, Deanne Criswell says a critical function in hurricane relief efforts is to go door to door to tell people what resources are available. In one recent case,
this employee wrote to about 11 staff members under her supervision that they should, quote, avoid homes advertising Trump. End quote.
Criswell says that employee has been fired. She does not believe this is part of any widespread cultural problem at FEMA and welcomes an investigation.
Our goal is to help all people.
A different team was sent into the field to contact all the homes that were skipped over at the employee's direction. Ed Donahue, Washington.
The Dow dropping 38 points, the NASDAQ composite down 117. More on these stories at townhall.com.
And paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-615-7541 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-615-7541. That's 800-615-7541. Again, 800-615-7541.
Larry Connor's commentary brought to you by Senior Memorial and memorialplans.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
The rats are jumping ship. I'm talking about the leftists who use their position in the Biden administration to target conservative Americans, especially Christian Americans. Now, the fact is, when Trump comes in, they are going to be kicked overboard anyway. But the Project on Government Oversight reports inspectors generals for the CIA and National Intel have already jumped. Some of those leaving will find land, jobs, maybe a network analyst. Others will be left floundering on the verge of drowning. And even those who make it to land might have to find a lawyer. Multiple former and current DOJ and FBI members told NBC News they fear they will be criminally investigated. That's a legitimate fear. Then you have the unelected, unappointed bureaucrats who help weaponize the government against you. They will be targeted. Now, some of them might believe they will be safe. But like Sergeant Schultz on the 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes, I saw nothing. I was only following orders. Get ready to testify.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL. This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
My sponsor, Wellington Environmental, has helped thousands deal with hazardous materials. Hospitals, offices, schools, even homes. Here's something new. Wellington now offers dustless blasting. This is just like sand.